Bellator Nation? Follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on the broadcast. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Join Bellator Nation today. From the gym to the streets, Bellator fans head to BellatorShop.com and gear up in the same apparel the fighters wear.
In MMA, the words warrior, bravery, and battle are often used to describe fighters in a cage. But we must always remember the true warriors, the men and women of the armed forces who selflessly serve our country and make the ultimate sacrifice each and every day. And as we have learned over the last 2 years, the term frontline has taken on entirely new meaning, with dedicated first responders and medical personnel answering the call to heal and to protect. Tonight, we are proud to honor those heroes who always exhibit steadfast bravery, who have fought and continue to fight the real battles to preserve our health and our homeland, defend the stars and stripes, and ensure our freedom. And so, the Bellator cage has returned here to Hawaii, home to the Pacific Command and every branch of the United States Armed Forces, as well as countless police officers, firefighters, doctors, and nurses, for a special night of fights capped off with a World Championship main event as undefeated flyweight queen Juliana Velasquez defends her belt against #1 contender, U.S. Marine Liz Carmouche.
If you're a Marine, you're a fighter, and that's who I am. Juliana Velasquez is a great champion, but it's time we bring that belt back to the United States where it belongs.
Live from the island of Oahu, it's the first of back-to-back Bellator Championship nights.
To Honolulu, Hawaii. Bellator returning for 2 back-to-back spectacular fight nights on the stunning island of Oahu. But it is more than that. Oahu known as the gathering place, where tonight we are gathering to celebrate those who serve us every single day. The Ohana is strong in Hawaii, also among those inside in attendance tonight. It is Bellator Fight for Our Heroes Night. Tonight, the entire crowd here in the historic Blaisdell Center is filled with members of the military, veterans, first responders, and medical personnel. Someone who is part of that family, Marine Liz Carmouche, will try to win the flyweight belt from current champ and undefeated Juliana Velasquez. Welcome into the Blaisdell Center. I'm Amanda Guerra alongside 2-time world champ Josh Thompson. You look very nice tonight, my friend.
You look beautiful.
We won't tell everybody that you have flip-flops on underneath the desk. A little secret to start the night here. Look, it is going to be a spectacular fight. We get the title fight tonight. We also have 4 guys, 2 fights, trying to punch their ticket to the Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix. That's coming up. We get to do it in front of this incredible crowd here in Hawaii. How pumped are you?
I'm excited. It's always nice to come here, not just because of the people, but the crowd and the energy, because Hawaiians love this type of atmosphere.
They really do. Let's talk about the main event. We have Liz Carmouche going up against Juliana Velasquez. A little bit about Liz Carmouche. As we mentioned, before she became a fighter, she spent 5 years in the Marine Corps, did 3 tours in Iraq as an aviation electrician, and she told us when she was in the Marines, it meant so much for someone to come out there, perform for them. It would boost morale, she says, for days, for weeks, even months sometimes. And that is what she wants to do in this building tonight. So let's talk about what goes on in the cage, Josh, because it is tough to take down a woman like Juliana Velasquez. Talk about the fight that Liz Carmouche has ahead of her.
All she's got to do is be patient, but she's got to create the action. She's got to move her head offline. She's got to close that distance, because Juliana Velasquez is a little bit longer and a little bit taller than her. So all she's got to do is make sure she moves her head offline, close the distance, slide her feet on the inside, land the big shots like she did against Watanabe. And then if she can, try to get in on those takedowns, get to that top position. Her on top, she's nasty. As we saw, as Deanna Bennett found out, if she gets to the back, if she gets to those top positions, she's a finisher. So that's all I just said that's all she has to do. Make it sound so easy, but I know it's not.
Yeah, because getting past Juliana Velasquez isn't easy. Juliana Velasquez, look, as I said, she's the champ for a reason. She is undefeated. She said, I'm not intimidated by the crowd here tonight, even though I know they're going to be on the side of Liz Carmouche. But this is a tough fight for her.
It's an extremely tough fight for her. But also, there's not much I can say that she needs to do. You want to know why? She's undefeated. So what kind of advice can I give her, or what can I talk about? She's doing everything right. She's on the national team for judo in Brazil. She's an outstanding striker. She's fallen in love with her striking. If I wasn't to give one critique, though, I would like to see her have a little bit more output when she starts touching people and dominating that position. In whatever position it is, I think she also, if she uses her size and that reach and pushes Liz to the fence to slow Liz down, because Liz has got a gas tank on her. If she can do that, I think she's going to have a good night.
Tell you what, that arrival for Juliana Velasquez, you just shot. She looks focused there. All right, that is our main event. But as I mentioned, we have so much coming up here tonight at Bellator 278. We get to find the final two fighters to punch their ticket to the Bantam World Grand Prix, That officially kicks off tomorrow here in Hawaii. So, Josh, we have Enrique Barzola going up against Nikita Mikhailov. Two guys on the other side of that who have been getting into it this week. Check out social media if you haven't seen it. Jordell, Lugo, Danny Sabatello. What can we expect from these fights tonight?
Well, Mikhailov versus Barzola. Expect Barzola to potentially drop the first two rounds, but Mikhailov and Barzola to come in hard on the third round. Now, in terms of Sabatello, he is someone who's going to push Lugo to the breaking point with the wrestling. Now, can he do it for the full 3 rounds? But the jawing back and forth will be going on during the fight like it's been going on all week.
It has been so much fun to watch that. It's like a guilty pleasure, right? Let's sit it down to Michael C. Williams to kick off the night.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bellator Hawaii from Honolulu. We begin with the presentation of the colors as we welcome the color guard from the University of Hawaii, Army ROTC.
Left turn, march.
Singing the national anthem from the Hawaii Air National Guard, Master Sergeant Brad Valenzuela. And in the Hawaiian tradition, AMVETS Hawaii State Commander Donovan Lazarus, U.S. Army retired, is presenting the lei necklace, a symbol of aloha.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed had the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripe and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air,
spirit alive and well in that heartfelt rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner on this Earth Day. We come to you from one of the most picturesque places on Earth as we honor some of the best inhabitants of this little blue marble of ours. Aloha! Alongside Big John McCarthy, I'm Mauro Ranallo. It is the Fight for Our Heroes card. I want to give a special shout out to two of my personal heroes, my brothers Romulo and Ezio, who work in law enforcement. And boy, maintaining law and order runs through generations of the McCarthy family.
Yeah, my dad was in the military. He was a police officer in LA. Kind of followed him a little bit. And then
let's go down memory lane, Big
oh my
John.
God, where the heck did you get that thing? That's horrible. That's an LAPD ad right there. That's my wife. That is my son, Ron, who is a Los Angeles County Sheriff. Very proud of him. And my daughter served in the military. She was actually in Hawaii here at Schofield Barracks for a while, went to Afghanistan. That's my daughter, Shay. Very proud of all of them.
Well, I'm proud of what you and your family have done, and thank you very much for your service, sir, as we get ready to really honor everyone in attendance tonight, honoring the military, frontline workers and first responders, and those of you watching at home who are amongst that fraternity, we thank you very much as well. So get ready to enjoy Bellator 278. We are getting started with a contract weight of 160 pounds. It is going to be Manny Muro looking to even the score with Nate Andrews 6 years ago. Andrews submitted Muro. They're ready to get it on here.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we welcome our first fighter to the cage. This is Nate the Snake Andrews.
Yeah, I learned to give you William Weston. You can never check me. Back to back for them. They didn't get the message. Back to back like I'm on the cover.
So while Andrews holds the submission win over Manny Muro, as we mentioned, took place in June of 2016. Third round rear naked choke. Since then, he's gone 7-3, John, but he's coming off a loss to Saad Awad in his Bellator MMA debut, and tonight he's going to try to snap the first two-fight losing streak of his career.
You know, you have these moments, and that fight against Awad just did not go his way. It was from the start. Awad was powerful. He had problems with him. But look, if there's one thing I can tell you, Nate Andrews on the ground is dangerous. This guy is a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. His ground game is fantastic. He's got great chokes, and he already got rid of Manny Muro one time with a rear naked choke. He's hoping to do it again.
10 of his 16 wins are via submission. 38-year-old Nate Andrews looking to even his Bellator MMA record to 1-1.
And now we welcome his opponent, Manny the Dragon Muro.
He is 8-5, Manny Muro, since being submitted by Nate Andrews, but against Usman Nurmagomedov, he was TKO'd in the opening round last July. So again, both fighters need to get back on the winning track. And what has impressed you most about Manny Muro in his journey to get there, John?
Well, what's really impressed me about Manny Muro is he's changed as a fighter. He's a guy that's got what I call whiskers. The guy can take a shot, but he's been fighting against very good grapplers and doing the right thing. He beat Nick Newell. He beat a guy in Devin Powell that's a fantastic grappler, and he needs to use those same components here tonight against Nate Andrews.
He feels like he rushed it in his last fight with Nurmagomedov. He says he's learned from his mistake and looking to deliver a much better performance here tonight as we go to the tail of the tape for our opening contest on the main card of Bellator 278 here at Neal S. Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu, Hawaii.
You can take a look at that reach, 70.5 compared to 76, but it's Nate Andrews that really wants to get this fight from the standing position to the ground. The question is, can he do it?
Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bellator Hawaii live on Showtime. Tonight, we return to Blaisdell Arena here in Honolulu as we present Bellator MMA's fight for our heroes. The action begins now inside the Bellator cage with 3 5-minute rounds at a contract weight of 160 pounds. And now, first introducing the blue corner. At 5'11", weighing in 159.2 pounds, his professional record, 16 wins, 4 losses, fighting out of Providence, Rhode Island, Nate the Snake Andrews. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'10", weighing in 160 pounds even as a professional. 12 victories, 7 defeats from Anadarko, Oklahoma, Manny the Dragon Muro. And when the bell rings, the referee in charge, Jason Herzog.
Fight for our heroes. Opening contest, one of our heroes, Bobby Koch. Bellator MMA's head rigger since 2015, a U.S. Marine veteran. Thank you, Bobby, for all that you do.
First round, fight, are you ready? Fight, are you ready? Fight!
The rematch between Manny Muro and Nate Andrews. And John, that was 6 years ago, which in MMA could be a lifetime ago, but in terms of what went down in that fight and where they're at this stage, what kind of a fight do you expect early?
What I expect to see is Nate Andrews just using his hands to try to work towards that takedown. He knows that he's not going to be able to just shoot on Manny and get him to the ground. He knows he needs to set it up right. Manny knows where Nate wants to go, and he knows that in the stand-up, he has an advantage in the fact that he will take a blow to give one, and he believes that his are stronger shots.
Andrews, southpaw, landed a nice body kick. Muro misses with the head kick. Muro, a lot of footwork, looking for that oblique kick, showing a lot of looks. But Nate Andrews not biting, staying at a respectable distance and using that long reach. Andrews sticking that jab out there, John, just trying to see if Muro will bite.
Yeah, right now it's just a rangefinder, and that's a smart tactic by Nate Andrews.
Body kick by Muro as he retreats, resets. There's a nice left hand down the middle by Andrews as they clinch. And who do you like in the clinch, John?
In the clinch, it's pretty even right now. I'm going to tell you, Manny Muro is very good in the clinch, and he uses a lot of smart tactics. But in taking Nate Andrews to the ground, I'm not sure that that's a smart tactic. Andrews warned for making sure he doesn't grab onto the fence as a takedown defense. Right now with Manny Muro, similar to where you see a lot of guys, that all started with Randy Couture in the dirty boxing. This is a great area up against the cage that you can do a lot of little chipping to just slow your opponent down, damage them a little bit, hit them with a ton of shots. They're not all big shots, but hit them with shots and then always exit with a big one. Muro looking for the takedown again as he went for the level change. Well defended by Andrews. Muro, a proud member of the Kiowa tribe in Oklahoma. I'm sure Nate Andrews is a little bit surprised that Manny is trying to take him down. This is probably not where he was thinking that Manny would want to have this fight. Muro told us that he's a grinder. He wants to just wear Andrews down, and trying to do so here in the opening round. Andrews with that whizzer. Trying to use that whizzer to get that takedown. And you saw him bring the leg across. He just wasn't able to upset the balance of Manny Muro. Andrews has 7 of his 16 wins via first round knockout or submission, but things at a relative standstill as Andrews looking to create separation. Muro with the back momentarily, but Andrews looking to switch, and there he's taken down by Muro. Dogged determination paying off. Muro bringing him down. You saw what Andrews did as he made the mistake when he went for that toss again with that wizard. He slipped by. Manny was able to take the back, and when he gets the back, he was able to get him to the ground.
Wide base by Muro.
Manny Muro right here needs to really, if he can, keep that top position, do some damage there. But he needs to get Nate Andrews back off of the cage because Nate's going to use that to try to get himself back to his feet.
Muro now training with MMA veteran Duane Ludwig at Elevation Fight Team. After spending time in Albuquerque.
Yeah, a lot of his training camps have always been with Jackson Wink. He switched it up to Denver, Colorado. But I'm telling you right now, this is not where Duane Ludwig would tell him to take the fight.
You don't say. Duane Ludwig, a tremendous striker in his own right and fantastic striking coach, but a fantastic mind for the entire sport of MMA. And a disciple of El Guapo Basuruten. Half minute remaining in the opening round, and Muro has the top position and needs to try to make the most of it.
Has the top position, but you got to do work here. You got to do something that looks like you're at least working towards finishing the fight.
And meanwhile, Andrews content to control his posture, hearing the 10-second warning, and first 5 minutes in the books in this matchup at a contract weight of 160 pounds. A rematch 6 years in the making. And the opening round. How did you see that on your unofficial scorecard?
All right, you're doing a great job.
Right now, you got to give it to Manny. He's the one that was able to get the takedown. There wasn't much really with striking from either guy. I was really surprised that Manny Muro worked so hard to get into that takedown situation. That says that, his camp is looking at this different than I did, that they believe that he can stay with Nate Andrews on the ground.
Let's listen in and hear what the corners are telling their fighters.
Be there, okay? He's trying to get you and he's trying to make it ugly. He's not even doing anything on the ground, okay? You got this shit. Let's go, baby.
Nate Andrews representing Triforce MMA out of Providence, Rhode Island. All about making those necessary adjustments.
Second round, fight, are you ready? Fight, are you ready? Fight!
Bell, round number 2. Andrews countered with that left from Muro. Andrews, the southpaw, stalking Muro. Muro utilizing his footwork, John, to try to disrupt any attempt at Andrews trying to establish a rhythm. Not a lot of striking here and now. Andrews closes the distance.
This is exactly where I believe Nate Andrews wants this fight to be. He's doing well with that straight left down the pipe, but in the clinch, up against the cage, this is where he wants to be. He wants to take the fight to the ground. If he gets to the top position, he has a distinct advantage in the fight, in my opinion.
While Andrews is 38, he came to the sport of MMA relatively late, didn't start training until he was 24. And now this is his 21st fight as a professional.
He's really working towards getting that back. Manny should use that cage to almost cheese grater him, slide him off. There you go.
Nice turnaround by the Dragon, Manny Muro, who is competing in his 20th professional fight.
Manny doing a great job. Look at where his head position's at.
Separation. And the knee from Andrews, but it's Muro who closes the gap and takes Andrews to the fence again, John.
He's got double unders right now.
So there's a battle along the fence, the battle of inches here for positioning, and also each taxing their reservoir when it comes to conditioning.
It is exactly what you're saying. We're going to see who's in better shape. And I figure Manny Muro's been working out at elevation.
Yes.
And so all of that thinner air, usually it helps with the gas tank.
And Muro's determined to try to secure the takedown. According to our stats, he's 2 for 2. And yet you would think that he would want to keep it standing under the tutelage of a guy like Dwayne Bang Ludwig, and judging by what we're seeing, John, the takedown is not easy to come by.
No, not easy to come by, but he is resolute in making the decision that he wants to bring this fight to the ground, but he wants to be in the top position.
Just past the midway point of the round and the fight. Andrews has to avoid the 12-6 elbow strike and does so.
Take a look at where Andrews' arms is. There's a lot of weight on those arms that's going to slow him down just a little bit, make his shots just a little bit, you know, not quite as crisp.
Muro's corner imploring him to switch to a double.
Yeah, it's a nice attempt to say that, but if you looked at what Nate Andrews was holding on to, he's got a baseball grip on his arm. You can't get your arm free.
Yeah, Andrews doing a good job in the hand grappling, now trying to just put his weight on Muro and stymieing Muro's attempt at a high crotch here, the single leg. And as you mentioned, Resolute does switch to a double, but now Andrews continues to defend the takedown while sapping the energy of a 36-year-old Manny the Dragon Muro.
And the real problem with what you're seeing with Manny Muro, what he's doing is, look, he's winning the position, but right now, Nate Andrews is the one that's actually landed the cleaner shots throughout this round. And this has not hit the ground where there's an advantage for one over the other, really. So more shots have been landed by Nate Andrews. There goes Manny Muro right back to that clinch.
He telegraphs it, just collapses into the attempt at the takedown. Under a minute left here in the middle frame. And somehow Muro now has
the ability to get the back
on
right
one
now.
leg, yep, trying to take the back, trying to get the hook in. Andrews very calm and is able to break away and reset southpaw stance. 30 seconds left, body kick by Andrews. Goes higher with that one, blocked by Muro. There's a left and a right by Andrews that scores.
Both nice right hook by Andrews. That hurt Manny, that's why you see him retreating.
And a straight left hand scores. And Muro's had enough of Andrews striking, looks for the takedown. 10 seconds left, and Andrews
look for the anaconda right here.
For the anaconda choke. Time running out.
It's going to be tough to finish this off where he's at.
Strong round for Nate Andrews.
You're in your corner right there, Manny. You're right here.
So Nate Andrews came on strong in the final minute of that round after Manny Muro spent a large portion of the round trying to take Andrews off his feet.
Spent a lot of time really working on that takedown and stuff, but he was getting hit every now and then in there, and he wasn't doing anything in return. Watch, this was near the end of the round. Watch this left hand straight down the middle. Beautiful shot by Nate Andrews. Tries to come with the uppercut, just glances off. This is where he wrapped up that anaconda right at the end of the round. But he's unable to collapse that. He wants to collapse that, getting that leg towards his, grabbing a leg with his, wasn't able to do it. I have this fight even going into the last round.
You good? Final round, you all set?
Meaning the plot thickens on your unofficial scorecard in this rematch.
Well, at least unofficial.
Unofficial.
Final round, fight, are you ready? Fight, are you ready? Fight!
Bell, third and final round. It has been a competitive matchup. Who wants to make a statement? Who wants to prove they belong on the big stage that is Bellator MMA? And they are both coming out chucking leather. Body kick by Muro, blocked by Andrews, who stabs him in the midsection with the jab from southpaw stance. We've seen a lot of clinching. We've seen a lot of close quarters competition, John. And here now in the final round, just over 4 minutes left. It comes down to the minutia of MMA, as it were.
It is really nice job of lacing the arm right now. You see Nate Andrews able to control that right arm. You see his right arm going all the way around the body of Manny Muro. He's controlling that right arm. It's going to make it tough on Manny Muro to stop what Nate Andrews is doing right here.
And Muro with one
Hook now from Nate Andrews. Andrews was going for the rear naked, now switching to a front choke, a potential guillotine attempt, and then the knee on the exit from Andrews. And a kick and a counter right from Andrews as Muro went to the body with the kick, looking for that Superman punch.
That was a clean shot by Manny Muro.
Body kick by Muro, right hand, level change again, and just not doing a good job of setting up the takedown, running out of real estate.
Running out of real estate, bouncing into that cage. That cage is a beautiful balance point for any fighter. Been working at trapping that leg, getting him to the ground. He's got him down on his butt right now, but he needs to push that position over. He wants to drive Nate Andrews over to the side, get his back on the canvas instead of on the cage.
Muro credited with 3 out of 6 takedowns. So half of his takedown attempts have been successful, but now trying to make Nate Andrews pay along the fence, trying to take out his base and put him flat on his back.
He's getting close, but now in full guard, but he was able to at least get his back on the canvas. Let's see what he does as far as opening up.
Andrews with a big edge in terms of strikes landed, total strikes landed. But Muro's in top position just past the midpoint of the final round.
Nate Andrews really needs to work at getting himself out of here. Use the fence to get yourself back to your feet. Don't sit here and accept this position. Manny Muro trying to force him back down. Big elbow strike.
That's a 1 butterfly hook and open guard as Andrews against the fence, under 2 minutes left in the fight, and it very well could be up for grabs here as Muro in the guard of Andrews. Andrews trying to get himself back to his feet somehow.
He needs to. He needs to explode, start to push, put the feet on the hips, start to swing over, almost give your back, get your knee to the ground, put a hand on the ground, knee to the ground, start building your base to get back to your feet.
All of the weeks of training, the sacrifices, despite this being a contract weight of 160 pounds, still having to make weight. And everything you sacrifice for your family in order to try to make a better life. John, it's just over a minute left. Who wants it more here between Muro and Andrews, both looking for important victory?
Both guys need to do something different. Right now, you're seeing to go for a switch. This position is not going to work with the switch on him. Doesn't have that right, but getting your knee to the ground, hand to the ground, get yourself back up. You got halfway there, don't stop. Manny Muro doing the right thing, continuing to put pressure, but Manny needs to build some type of posture, getting a little bit of space so he can land heavy shots. He's trying to figure 4 the legs right now to keep Andrews where he's at.
6 years ago, it was Nate Andrews who submitted Manny Muro in the 3rd round via rear naked choke. It's now Muro in top position, elbows from the bottom by Andrews. 20 seconds left in the fight. Muro looking to even the score and bounce back from his first loss inside the Bellator MMA cage. He's 12-7 overall. And Muro and Andrews are going to the judges' scorecards in the rematch. We'll return in 90 seconds.
Hey, Bellator Nation, follow us across a large array of digital platforms and stay up to date on everything you need to know. Like us on the Bellator Facebook page and see exclusive videos. Follow us and get instant updates on Twitter at Bellator MMA and get a chance to have your tweet live on the broadcast. See amazing pictures on Instagram at Bellator MMA. Join Bellator Nation today. The new Bellator MMA app is here. New look, new features, new fights. Watch live weigh-ins and prelims. Share your fight picks. Earn points and badges as you rank up to the heavyweight division. And stay up to date on events, rankings, and news. For all the latest features, download the new Bellator MMA app. Available on the App Store and Google Play. Tomorrow night, it's the opening round of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix, which includes Kyoji Horiguchi versus Patchy Mix, and an interim title fight between former world champ Juan Archuleta and 17-1 Rafion Superstars. Plus, featherweight queen Chris Cyborg defends her belt against Arlene Anger Fist Blinko in a world title rematch. And let's not forget, it's a Hawaiian homecoming for former flyweight champion Alina Leigh McFarland. Hawaiian fans can't wait to see her back in action.
The Aloha State, Hawaii, on this Earth Day. Hey, no better place to be than one of the most picturesque places on Earth. It is Fight for Our Heroes. Here's Michael C. Williams with the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, having gone the distance, we'll go now to your three judges at cage side. Your first, Sal D'Amato, scores the fight 29-28. He sees it for Muro. Your second judge, Brian Miner, 29-28, scoring the fight for Andrews. Your third and final judge at cage side, Mike Onzuka, scores the fight 29-28, seeing it for the winner by split decision, Manny the Dragon Muro.
Manny Muro exacts revenge and defeats Nate Andrews via split decision. They're now 1-1 as Muro improves to 13-7 and 4-1 here inside the Bellator MMA cage. Let's go to Amanda Guerra at the fight desk.
Muro, thank you so much. Well, Josh, it has been a very special week here in Hawaii. The other day, I was a little jealous. I didn't get the invite, but that's okay. You, Big John, Royce Gracie, you guys got to go to the Schofield Barracks in Honolulu, Hawaii, and I know that was such a special event for all of you guys. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you get to meet people that are bringing their families, you know, our servicemen and women. They come in and there's a lot to say. I mean, like, someone kind of gets a little emotional sometimes, but it definitely is fun. We make it fun. They make it fun for us. The kids are energized. It's been amazing.
And I do want to mention home of the 25th Infantry Division, U.S. Army, Hawaii, opened in 1908, and more than 90,000 soldiers, family members, retirees, Army civilians, and employees are assigned to live in Hawaii. Now, Royce Gracie, I saw jumping out of helicopters. Josh, what happened to you?
Yeah, that's not me. It's a hard pass for me, by the way.
All right, everyone here in attendance tonight is in for a great show, and they are members of the military, veterans, first responders as well. Let's get these guys ready for the next fight, a battle of light heavyweights. We have Grant Neal going up against Christian Edwards. And for people at home, I want you to know these guys are heated going into this because they are both coming off their first loss. But Josh, they were different losses. Explain why and how they can bounce back tonight.
Yeah, Grant Neal lost a split decision in his last fight. It was a very close fight. He just, basically the judges gave it to the other guy. But it was a good fight, back and forth, some wrestling. That's a different scenario mentally for you because you know how you can grow. And when losing to Alex Polizzi, who his only loss to was to Julius Angliskas, who has fought for the title. Now, when you go to Christian Edwards, his loss was to Big Tuna. I love Big Tuna, but that Big Tuna knocked him out. And in that situation, in that scenario, for him, it's more of a mental aspect now. He's got to figure out, did I do something wrong? Which he did. But how do I fix it? Is his confidence up? Will he bring that into the cage tonight? Is he going to fix those issues? There's a lot going on mentally when you lose that way. So that's what the difference is.
And you can imagine when something starts not going your way in that fight, the mentality kicks in. Am I in trouble yet again? Let's find out what's going to happen. Muro, we'll send it back down to you.
All right, thank you very much. Indeed, light heavyweight action, number 9 ranked Grant Neal going up against Christian Edwards. As the fight desk alluded, both looking to bounce back from their first professional setbacks.
And now, making his way to the cage, Christian Payne Edwards.
"23 years of age, Christian Edwards who was upset by Ben Parrish in just 38 seconds last September. The pressure of an undefeated record is off John, and you can bounce back a variety of ways, but he's back into the pressure cooker here tonight against Grant Neal on the main card of Bellator 278.
Well, he's definitely in the pressure cooker because Grant Neal brings the pressure. The guy is a grinder, but I don't think that loss is going to have any effect on Christian. He knows where he made the mistake. He comes from Jackson Wink. They know exactly how to get him mentally prepared for the fight. He's put that in the past. He says, I've grown from it. It was actually a good thing, even though you never say a loss is a good thing. It was for me, and I believe that it was.
He says he's been doing a lot more grappling since his last fight. Do you think that will be a factor for him tonight against Neal?
Well, I think that was a factor when he found out he was going to fight Grant Neal, and you better start practicing grappling because you know where Grant Neal wants to bring the fight.
And now, to make his way, Grant the Truth Neal.
26-year-old Grant Neal says that when it came to his first professional loss at Bellator 266 last September, the split decision against Alex Polizzi, he said that fight taught him that you can't trust the judges. He said it was a tough thing to handle, but it has just made him a better fighter in the long run. He came out of it with no injuries and what he calls a lot of phenomenal cage experience. So possesses the right attitude coming off his first loss.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, it was a close fight. It could have gone either way. But the thing that you learn out of it is there's always that little bit left, and I've got to give that because I cannot allow the judges to in any way figure out that I lost that fight, the other guy got it. I need them to know that I'm the one that they should have gone with.
Let's go to the tail of the tape for this matchup at 205.
Very simply put, we just talked about it. Both were undefeated in their last fight. They both are now with one loss. Who is going to put another mark in that loss column on the other man?
Edwards has the height and reach advantage as we go to Michael C. Williams.
Live on Showtime, Bellator 278 continues now with the light heavyweight division set for 3 5-minute rounds. Introducing first the blue corner at 6'5", weighing in 204.4 pounds. His professional record: 5 wins, 1 loss. He fights out of Albuquerque, New Mexico, Christian Edwards. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner at 5'11", weighing in 204.2 pounds. As a professional, 6 victories, only 1 defeat, fighting out of Denver, Colorado, Grant the Truth Neal. In charge of the action, LA County Sheriff's Department detective and U.S. Marine Corps veteran, referee Mike Beltran.
And here are some photographs as we travel down memory lane. U.S. Marine and L.A. detective in the Sheriff's Department, Mike Beltran, who enlisted in 1991 in the footsteps of his cousin Mike.
Good man, Mike Beltran.
All right, gentlemen, first round.
No mustache with the U.S. Marine Corps, though.
Let's go.
Bell in round 1. Grant Neal says wrestling is his bread and butter. Christian Edwards says striking is his bread and butter. Styles clash.
Styles clash, you're looking right now. Grant Neal is he's your tank, man. He's gonna come and try to run you over. While Christian Edwards, he's that sidewinder missile. He is dangerous everywhere.
Neal fighting out of Genesis Training Academy and Elevation Fight Team in Easton's BJJ, while Christian Edwards representing the vaunted Jackson Wink MMA camp out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. In the opening minute, trying to bring that reach, that size to Grant Neal.
Yeah, but you can see a difference already, Christian. Look where his hands are at first. Look at his stance. He's lowered his stance because he knows that Neal's going to want to try to take him down. So he's kind of getting himself ready for that. But he doesn't want to lower his hands down too much, so he's using his stance to drop down and keep his hands up high.
Studied 2 of the very best in Anderson Silva and John Jones. And now walking forward, always looking for the takedown, and they clashed like a couple of rams.
They did. That was that tank-like attack by Grant Neal.
And there's a right hand that lands for Edwards, maximizing that reach advantage, looking to knock off the number 9 ranked Grant Neal.
A lot of people look at Grant Neal and they see a guy very muscular, stocky, but he's surprisingly quick.
There's showing some of his quickness, trying to take the back of Christian Edwards.
Nice job by Christian to keep on spinning his way through.
Neal was a 2-time Colorado State wrestling champion, unable to keep Edwards down, spinning back kick by Edwards, flashing some of his striking acumen, and long distance left right down the middle by Edwards.
See, right now, look at the distance you're looking at. Right now, Edwards is controlling that distance because there's no way that Grant Neal can hit him from the distance that he's at. He's got to enter in with his footwork.
And he did that with that calf kick, switching back to orthodox here now. Front kick misses for Edwards. Neal trying to use the jab to close the distance. Midway point of the opening round. Double jab from Edwards. More of a range fight. Edwards, I'm sure, collecting that data when Neal throws the left jaw, leaning towards his right. Under 2 minutes left in the first.
He absolutely is, and you're looking as what you're seeing. Look at how Christian Edwards is starting to cut the ring off on him, though. He's not, at times he was following, now he's starting to cut it off a little bit more, which is forcing Grant. That was a beautiful one, too, by Christian Edwards. And it's really that kick up the middle is something that Christian Edwards should use much more often.
And Neal coming forward with a left hook right hand, but you're right, that it's like the teep in Muay Thai, so the leg jab in the way. Another weapon to his advantage, and yet Neal trying to, you know, fight fire with fire. He needs to close the gap somehow, and yet
Grant Neal needs, when Christian Edwards comes in and makes that attack, he's doing a very good job of circling out of it, but he needs to make the counter off of that.
There's an overhand right by Edwards as they come forward. Neal talked about making those small adjustments that ultimately add up to big leaps forward in his skills. Oh. And there he gets caught with the head kick from Edwards.
That was right at the end of the foot. That's why.
Nice jab from Neal.
He didn't have that much effect on Grant, but did hit him clean. Grant needs to just figure out that distance.
Under 30 seconds left, Neal fires off a kick of his own. Both of them in front of each other. Heads on the center line. Neal changes level, secures the takedown with 10 seconds left in the round.
Not only changed level, changed direction. It was a beautiful takedown. The only problem is the amount of time left for him to use that.
So, John, lots again going on in that first 5 minutes of where you didn't see a lot of maybe sustained offense, but the strategy, the data collecting. Two guys who are looking for those small opportunities.
Both guys are trying to feel each other to see where that opening is. It's not easy for either one. That was a close round. Here comes that high kick up. Just lands right at the end of the foot on Grant Neal. This is where Grant needs to circle. This was that takedown. Look how he changes direction on that. That's what makes the takedown work. That was a beautifully executed takedown by Grant Neal. He just needs to do it at a different time section in the round.
Let's go, okay? Yep. I need you to go out there and take his confidence. Seconds out, mouthpiece in. To cut it. All the way back. All right, gentlemen, second round. Ready to fight. Ready to fight. Let's go.
Well, round two, Grant Neal said, hey, wrestling wasn't fun, but I loved getting my hand raised. I've always been an extremely competitive person who hates losing. Well, looking to bounce back from his first taste of defeat as a professional, as is Edwards, and Neal secures the takedown. Edwards pops right back up to his feet and goes on the attack.
Boy, that right there, that says a lot about Christian Edwards and where he's at, because that was a clean entry by Grant Neal, and he had that takedown. Christian Edwards fought his way out of it.
Neal going to the body with a left hook, a lead left hook, and is able to escape in linear fashion, John, which he could end up paying for somewhere down the line.
Absolutely, and he needs to come with more than one.
Yep. Meanwhile, what are you looking for from Christian Edwards as this round progresses in terms of what we're seeing here in this bit of a standoff?
Really what you just saw. I'm looking for Christian Edwards to use his footwork, create the angles that allows him to attack Grant Neal and make his combinations and then get himself out, collect himself back, and reestablish it again.
There's the sloppy takedown attempt by Edwards, and well defended, easily defended by Neal, more like the bull and the matador there.
Not only well defended, but man, he landed a clean shot off of that. That was really well done by Grant Neal.
Inside calf kick by Edwards. 2 minutes gone in the second. Oh, and Edwards knocked off balance. Edwards, 7 of 22. Neal, 4 of 11 in terms of strikes landed here in the second round.
Both guys throwing stiff jabs, kind of both glancing off.
Three-punch combination by Edwards that
all hit air.
Yes.
Grant really needs to commit. There you go.
And Neal takes down Edwards in the center of the cage. Edwards trying to create separation.
So right now, don't sit here. Don't let him get himself in a position where he can control your head and start to push his way out. Start to climb up. Bring your legs across. Do not let him get to the point where he can get his back off of this. This is important for Grant Neal. This is his first takedown. If he can make this takedown last and do some quality work down here, this is what he needs to do to turn this around.
With a minute 36 left. And Edwards active off his back.
Well, active in trying to get himself back to his feet. You see Neal taking the arm away, trying to keep him flat, but Edwards working himself towards that cage.
Yep.
See, right now, all we've had from Grant Neal, it's a good takedown. He's done a good job of keeping him on the ground, but not one strike has been landed, not one submission attempt.
And there it is, couple of rights, a hammer fist, another right hand on cue. John Neal opening up on Edwards, coming up on the final minute of the second.
And Neal's got that left arm of Edwards lace, so he cannot use it to protect himself. All he's got right now is his right arm. Grant Neal really needs to work to free that right hand.
We saw a burst of offense from Neal, and there again on cue with 2 strikes, 3, and Edwards trying desperately somehow to get back to his feet, try to utilize the wall, but Neal very smart in taking away the hand.
At least when he got, Neal landed those couple strikes, but Edwards was able to free his arm up. Now he's got full guard, but this is a great place for Grant Neal.
Solid elbow, another elbow by Grant Neal, so we are through 2 rounds here. Grant Neal going to the third with some momentum. And a lot of respect exhibited between Neal and Edwards.
And take a look at the left eye of Christian Edwards. That elbow absolutely landed solid, and it has puffed his eye up already.
Christian, you can't start your combinations so far away from him. Stick with straight punches and really sit down on that straight right hand.
Here's the big difference in the fight. Once Neal changes level, gets into him, and takes him down in the middle of that cage, this was the start of the change of the fight for Grant Neal. Here's that elbow. Beautiful elbow right across over the forehead. Did a nice job of lacing the arm. Really good work by Grant Neal when he decided to go.
Bell piece, let's go. Hey, out. Christian, out.
We'll go now to the third and final round.
Grant Neal looking to go to 7-1. Christian Edwards hopes to improve to 6-1. Third and final round. Both of them took the one in the loss column in their last outing. And here in the final frame, John, how do you have it on your unofficial scorecard?
Unofficially, I have this fight even. Whoever wins this round is the man that's going to win this fight.
And Edwards with Yoda, Greg Jackson in his corner. Jackson wanting him to sit down on his straight right hand in this final round. And yet he's coming from a southpaw stance, so that might be tough. But there's a right hand from Neal. And Neal looks for the takedown and secures it.
That was a beautiful takedown, almost a blast double. Look at the lacing of the legs right now. That's going to keep Christian from being able to get up. Now he can scoot his butt towards that fence to help him get up.
Neal credits MMA veteran Nate Marquardt for helping him on his MMA journey.
Look at Neal reaching for that right arm, trying to suck it in so he can flatten Christian Edwards back to the canvas.
Marquardt, former king of Pancrase, Strikeforce champion, UFC veteran. Talk about a guy who's been there and done that. As Neal tries to do it here in the third and final round, with Edwards trying to force either a stand-up or try to release the grip of Grant Neal, who's content to just keep Edwards neutralized.
Nice job by Christian Edwards trying to move, but Grant Neal just riding on top of him, controlling that position. Heavy hip ride right now. Beautiful right hand that landed clean.
And Grant Neal has 3 submissions, all of them rear naked choke victories.
Look out for the high crotch.
Christian Edwards looking to avoid the trip. 3 minutes left in the fight. And there's the takedown. This one with more oomph by Grant Neal, much to the delight of our invited guests, those representing the American military, frontline workers, and first responders.
Great job by
Edwards
Christian.
back up to his feet.
Great job to work. That's not easy to do, but he still has Grant Neal on his back. He's trying to work those hands apart. He can split the hands. He can turn into him, get himself out of this position.
Knees from behind by Neal. Edwards continues to try to break the grip. Meanwhile, now taking Neal to another part of the cage, coming up on the final 2 minutes.
Nice job by Grant Neal. Switch into that single leg. Gets the dump.
And Neal having success in the takedown department. 5 of 6.
Christian,
his 5th coming in the final frame.
Christian Edwards did not want to give into that position. Grant Neal just made him by the pressure he was creating. Nowhere for him to go. Christian Edwards working incredibly hard, trying to get himself back to his feet, change the position, but right now stuck in half guard.
At the beginning of the fight, we mentioned Grant Neal's biggest strength is wrestling. Christian Edwards' biggest strength is striking. The wrestler imposing his will and skill on a a game. Christian Edwards, again, John, you talk about it, never settling for this position on your back. And now with just a minute left, Edwards has to summon up all the resolve he can muster somehow to take Grant Neal off of him, but Grant Neal doing whatever is necessary to keep Edwards where he is.
Yeah, look, you got to say, Christian Edwards has been working to not settle. He's just got a tank on top of him. You know, it's like having a battleship on top of you. You can't move it. Grant Neal is incredibly strong. He's proving that right now.
He was attended CSU Pueblo as a freshman All-American fullback in football, winning a NCAA Division II national championship. We talked about his wrestling background, and Grant Neal coming back just like Edwards. Both of them having suffered their first losses. Grant Neal using his wrestling pedigree to good effect here tonight.
Great job by Grant Neal.
Grant Neal's dad, Adrian, was part of an amphibious assault team in the Navy. Adrian very excited to have his son compete on this card.
Neal, I eat pain. I love the pain.
He eats pain.
I love it. This world must know pain. I am this world. I am this world.
Well, proud Papa Adrian Neal has to be happy with stuff like this, John.
Well, this is where he switched. High crotch, brings him over on top. He had multiple takedowns in this round. Here's where he switched into the single leg. Brings it up high, dumps him over. Just a beautiful exhibition of utilizing your wrestling to create situations that put you in control of the fight. Grant Neal, outstanding effort.
Let's review the fight stats, John.
You can take a look at that. Look, 45 strikes landed compared to 15. We're talking punches, everything, and that's a lot of those were on the ground, especially when he's lacing the arm and everything. 5 takedowns to nothing. There is no doubt that Grant Neal should get the win here.
Let's get the official decision. Here's Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we go now to cage side, where all 3 judges, Sal D'Amato, Kyle Takao, and Mike Bell, see it exactly the same at 30-27. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision, Grant the Truth Neal.
Grant Neal swept Christian Edwards off his feet with his takedowns, and he swept the scorecards 30-27 across the board, bouncing back from his first loss, while Christian Edwards, well, he has to go back to the drawing board after tasting back-to-back defeats. Let's go back to Amanda Guerra at the fight desk.
He deserves a little dance there. Muro, thank you. As we work our way through the night, it is Bellator's special Fight for Our Heroes night. We want to point out some special faces in the crowd, including that guy right there, Major Marquez J. Henderson. Spent 23 years, he's a humble man, as you can tell, in the Marine Corps. Decided after 23 years it was time to retire last month, but his service far from over. He founded the Ariza May Academy, which is dedicated to ending interpersonal violence through awareness, education, martial arts training. And you see some of the guys behind him, those are his students. Over the years, he has trained more than 2,100 students. Well, tonight is just part 1 of 2 fight nights here in Hawaii. Tomorrow we have the launch of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix, and the queen of the cage, Chris Cyborg, puts her belt on the line yet again, but can anyone dethrone her? Tomorrow night, it's the opening round of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix, which includes Kyoji Horiguchi versus Patchy Mix, in an interim title fight between former world champ Juan Archuleta and 17-1 Rafion Superstats. Plus, featherweight queen Chris Cyborg defends her belt against Arlene Anger Fist Blenko in a much-anticipated world title rematch. And let's not forget, it's a Hawaiian homecoming for former flyweight champion Ilima-Lei McFarland. Hawaiian fans can't wait to see her back in action. And tomorrow night, that Grand Prix kicks off at today, I do want to say. So those are the guys that are already in. But tonight, we have 4 guys that are trying to make it into the Grand Prix. And tomorrow, of course, we have the main event for Cyborg and Arlene Blenko. But I want to talk about the wild card rounds coming up tonight, because I mentioned we have 4 guys. 2 of them will make it into that Grand Prix. And the next fight, Jordell Lugo going up against Danny Sabatello. We are on pins and needles for this fight. These 2 guys have been going at it. We can't show the videos right now because there's so much cussing back and forth between them. Let's start with Jordell Lugo, because he says, look, I think so much about my fights. I need to find more pockets to let my hands go. Going up against a guy like Danny Sabatello, is that a good tactic for him?
Well, he doesn't need to find more pockets. He needs to create more pockets. But then what he needs to do is make sure that he's always on point with his footwork, because if he settles himself down right in the middle of the cage or in front of him, he can end up in trouble in that takedown defense. But against Keith Lee, his footwork was on point, his grappling was on point, and the transitions to the back were definitely on point as he got the submission win. And then when he fought Brian Moore, it was the footwork that was key. He was slipping slightly out of range, and they touched him with the jab and the combinations. But in that fight, what you saw there, he was very limited on his output. He should have had a little bit more output because he was controlling the pace of the fight with his footwork and his jab, but he could have done a little bit more to potentially get Brian Moore out of there. So I expect to see him have a little bit more output tonight because there is that animosity.
There really is that animosity. I do want to mention Jordell Lugo and the theme of tonight, him and his ex-wife, they're both ex-military. His head coach, his main training partner are both firefighters. So he said he is very excited to fight in front of this crowd. Now, Danny Sabatello, we're going to show you some highlights here in a second. Josh is going to talk about him. He has brown hair in those. He dyed his hair for this event. I asked him, what color is this? He says platinum, just so you all know it, platinum. He is so entertaining, but in the cage, we haven't seen him in a year. What does he need to do tonight?
When he fought Brett Johns, right, he came in on 5 days' notice. Everyone was expecting him to kind of just lay down, get tired by the 3rd round. But as you're watching right now, he's dominated every second of that fight with the wrestling, the clinch, the top pressure. He was beating Brett Johns to every position. He just dominated the position everywhere the fight went, and he controlled where the fight went. Big slams, big lifts. He's got to do the same thing tonight, but he's got to be very careful he doesn't get caught coming in, because he will be aggressive. Lugo is very good with his footwork, very good with his timing on those knees and those push kicks up the middle, so he's got to be cautious. But I'm telling you right now, Sabatello is must-watch TV when it comes to just his mouth. He will be talking as this fight is going on.
Yeah, as it's going on, and if he wins and he gets the mic. All right, here's the bracket we wanted to show you guys at home so you can see the bottom 4 guys. Those are the fights we're about to see, starting with Lugo and Sabatello, the winner facing Ego. I mean, how tough is that going to be for either one of them?
It's going to be a tough fight for either one of them, whoever wins tonight. Ego is a monster when he gets in the cage. He's big for the weight as well, and he's someone that cuts a lot of weight, but he's aggressive with his hands, and he's very good on the ground. I've trained with him on the ground. He's really aggressive with the leg locks as well as getting to the back.
It is time to watch this first wild card fight unfold. Let's send it back down to Muro.
All right, thank you very much. While this fight is taking place in Hawaii, these 2 have more beef than the entire state of Texas. The undefeated Jordell Lugo taking on Danny Sabatello, the Italian gangster, dropping more F-bombs than Goodfellas.
And now set to make his
five win streak.
And now, making his way, Jordell, A1 Lugo.
Jordell Lugo ranked number 9 in the talent deep 135-pound division. He's also on a 5-fight winning streak. And that streak at 135 here in Bellator, tied with Rafion Stotts, who's already in the Grand Prix. In fact, he'll vie for the interim title against former champion Juan Archuleta tomorrow night, and Jalen Bates as well. They are all tied with 5 consecutive wins at bantamweight. And hey, Lugo making his second Bellator appearance in a 46-day stretch after beating Brian Moore, so he's all kinds of fired up.
He's all kinds of fired up because he said, this is my chance. This is my chance to show everybody what I can do. He's in against a guy that wants to definitely take him down.
All right, let's go to the numbers, John.
Very simply put, 8-0 for Jordell Lugo, 11-1 for Sabatello. This fight is going to be electric. They both do not like each other, which makes it fun.
They don't get along, and John, that's why they got to get it on. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA presents the first of 2 wild card fights to qualify for the $1 million Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix. And now, set for 3 5-minute rounds live on Showtime, we introduce the blue corner. At 5'10", weighing in 134.6 pounds, he's near perfect as a professional. 11 wins, 1 loss, fighting out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida, by way of Chicago, Illinois, Danny, the Italian gangster, Sabatello. And across the cage, his adversary, fighting out of the red corner. At 5'9", weighing in 134.8 pounds as a professional. He's undefeated at 8-0 by way of Waterbury, Connecticut. He fights out of West Palm Beach, Florida, presenting Jordell, A1 Lugo. And the referee in charge, Frank Trigg.
Mike.
Wild card bouts are an opportunity to earn a spot in the opening round of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. They are each scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds. Use the unified rules of professional MMA. In the event of a draw, the fighters will compete in 1 additional sudden victory round, the result of which will determine which fighter earns a spot in the World Grand Prix. The bell, and round 1, undefeated Jordell Lugo at 8-0 against the 11-1 Danny Sabatello. The time for talk is over. The time to start rocking each other with strikes has begun. And of course, when it comes to the striking department, it's Lugo that has the higher level of pedigree, but Sabatello's wrestling background served him very well against Brad Johns.
Danny Sabatello is a dog when it comes to his wrestling ability. He just keeps on coming at you. If he misses one, he just comes with a second one. He comes with a third one. Look at that tenacity just going after him. What Lugo needs to do is use your footwork to bring angles that make it to where Sabatello cannot finish that takedown. And when you get the chance on any exit, you got to make him pay for coming in.
Sabatello trains with a Murderers Road American top team. Gets that takedown on Lugo, who trains out of the Combat Club in Lantana, Florida. And so Sabatello with the takedown, opening minute of the first round, but good job by Lugo to get back to his feet.
And that's what's important, you know. This is a mental game, and when you're Sabatello, you're telling yourself, it's okay, I'm just gonna do it again. And if you're Lugo, you're saying, I'm gonna make you work so hard that you exhaust yourself and try to take me down, and then I'm gonna knock you out. So this is just a battle of attrition. Nice front headlock position by Danny Sabatello. That was pure wrestling right there, showing his wrestling pedigree. Beautiful job of taking it back.
And it's Lugo on his back, slashing elbow strike by Sabatello, aggressive at close quarters. Lugo again able to, well, this time, and his leg neutralized.
You were right. Lugo
Sabatello
was on his way up,
yes.
and Sabatello learned what he did, made the adjustment, took the leg away.
Nicely done by Sabatello. Under 3 minutes left in the opening round. Sabatello has already recorded 2 takedowns. Began wrestling at the age of 4, a 2-time state champion in Illinois. Wrestled the Big Ten, was captain of the team at Purdue University. Another former Purdue captain, had a pretty good MMA career, a guy by the name of John Fitch.
I look at Danny Sabatello being very similar to John Fitch in his tenacity of taking the fight to the ground and then just grinding his opponent, which he's doing right now.
That's exactly what he is trying to do here to Lugo, just grinding away the tenacity to keep Lugo on his back, carry his weight with just over 2 minutes left in the opening round. So you couldn't ask for a better start if you are Danny Sabatello.
No, it's outstanding. Look, Lugo's a sniper. This is the guy that, man, in the stand-up, he picks you apart. Sabatello's not giving him any chance at bringing his game in. He is just being a blanket, stifling anything that Lugo wants to do, and now taking away his ability to get that position to get back to his feet. Look at Danny bringing that right leg up to pass. Nice job to get back to the full guard for Lugo. But at any time that Lugo's on his back, you got to figure he is losing this fight.
Wide base, and Sabatello looking to score with some ground and pound, trying to pass.
Danny Sabatello passing into a half guard position. Lugo now putting him back to full guard. Sabatello then immediately passing right back. Great job. Beautiful elbows by Danny Sabatello.
Final 60 seconds of a superlative start by Danny Sabatello in his second appearance in a Bellator MMA cage, in the first of our 2 wild card bouts with the 8-man, $1 million Bellator MMA Bantamweight World Grand Prix getting underway tomorrow night. Sabatello and Lugo each looking to advance to the tournament, and Lugo hoping to advance to the second round.
Great base and balance by Danny Sabatello. You actually saw him use his head to hold his position. He talked about, I don't want to just win, I want to torture him, I want to beat him down, I want him to know. And that right now, he's getting what he said, he's making it happen.
Final 15 seconds of the first round of this World Grand Prix wild card bout, and Danny Sabatello using his wrestling background to grind away at Jordell Lugo.
Stop. Corners.
Bellator MMA goes global this spring with unmissable fight action. Friday, May 6th, Bellator returns to Paris, France for a heavyweight championship rematch. The Darkness, Czech Congo, aims to dethrone the champion Ryan Bader in front of Congo's home country. Live 9 p.m. British Standard Time. Then we channel to London, England, Friday, May 13th, where fan favorite, human highlight reel Michael Venom Page meets Division I All-American Logan Storley in the main event.
Like crazy right now, bro, okay? You're shooting like crazy. So utilize your jab, use your range, use the team to the body. Anytime you feel him get close, move, okay? A little bit more.
Up still, stand up, stand up.
Lugo's corner wants him to get back to the jab, John, attack the body, and
Stay back. Round 2.
Use what got him to the proverbial dance.
Copy.
Right now with what Danny Sabatello, the way he's attacking the takedown, look, he's coming into him just,
ready?
I mean,
ready?
After him, just balls to the wall. And he's got to figure out a way to use his footwork to cut that corner and then make him pay.
Second round underway. Lugo back to a southpaw stance, and elbows landed. It was hellacious for Lugo, and Lugo looking to land a nasty knee, but it was all one-way traffic for elbow strikes in the first round for Sabatello, who again clinching with Lugo early in the second round and takes Lugo down early in the second.
Lugo is under siege when it comes to the Sabatello going for those takedowns. He does not know how to stop the tenacity of Danny Sabatello. And he better figure out a way to stop the elbows, because right now, Danny Sabatello's got a lot of time to work in this position, and he has been landing those.
Sabatello has recorded 3 takedowns in 5 attempts, and here with a minute gone in the second, going to the body with a short strike. There's a couple of right hands to the head of Lugo. Lugo trying to avoid the advancing Danny Sabatello. Would love to go to full mount, but he's content to stay anywhere just because of his control right now, John.
Well, there's no reason for him to go to full mount right now. He's been landing heavy strikes from that half guard position. When he's in guard, he's been landing heavy strikes. Beautiful job of passing. Sabatello, whenever he wants to, is able to pass through the guard of Lugo, and that is just bad for Lugo right now. And you see him right there stepping over. He's in 3/4 guard now he's in full mount.
Back to half. Amazing.
But he's just moving anywhere he wants right now.
Yes, and delivering strikes when he deems it appropriate. And I love the way you put it. Jordell Lugo under siege, courtesy of Danny Sabatello. Takes the back, looking for the rear naked choke against the fence.
It's going to be hard for him to get it from that position.
Yep. And he knows it, lets it go. Wrapping up Lugo, nails him with another slashing elbow.
Yeah, what we're seeing right now, this is not just a ground and pound attack. I mean, this is a vicious style that Danny Sabatello is bringing.
The numbers back it up, John.
34 of 62. I mean, compared
and there he's going for the arm triangle.
He's got a good shot. He should get that leg clear.
He has 4 submission wins, including an arm triangle choke victory against Chris Johnson in May of 2020.
He's just got to continue that squeeze, start to squeeze into it, put pressure. But if he had that leg free, create a better angle.
Sabatello searching for his 5th submission win. Looking to force Lugo to tap. Looking to advance to the bantamweight World Grand Prix.
Lugo starting to move a little bit there. Sabatello still on it.
And putting the squeeze. And now forced to release it, blood. And Sabatello encouraging the military, frontline workers, and first responders on this special night. Fight for our heroes. Well, Sabatello is bringing the fight to Jordell Lugo.
He's trying to bring the troops in with him.
Vicious ground and pound. Danny Sabatello. Bloody battle here. Opened up Jordell Lugo.
Make sure you touch his ears. Make sure you touch his ears.
And now ground and pound from the back.
All those shots coming up under the arm. Jordell Lugo could not see those.
Remember Dan Henderson, Fedor Emelianenko delivered the exact same way.
All it takes is one H-bomb.
Who came up with that, Nicky?
I don't know.
45. He didn't like it at first, by the way.
Some guy named Ronaldo.
Second. Oh, wow. Sabatello has Lugo flat on his back, but Lugo again, the veteran, undefeated, in all kinds of trouble.
But Lugo continues to work. He's continuing to try to get himself to a better position, but he has no answer for the top game of Danny Sabatello.
Sabatello said he would not be satisfied just beating Jordell Lugo. He wants to, well, there's that F word he likes to use, torture him. Well, he's done a pretty decent job through 2 rounds of action.
Stop. Corners. 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 Corners.
A merciless assault by Danny Sabatello.
Yeah. Dude, where the dog at, man? I need you to... Do not settle. He's getting you.
Take a look at what Danny Sabatello does here. Beautiful job. Gets the takedown. And from this point, Muro, when you take a look at a fighter taking a fight to the ground and looking for positions to end the fight. Danny Sabatello did it multiple times. Looks for the arm triangle here. Goes to the back as he starts to taunt, bringing the troops in with him. All of that. Lands big elbow strikes, big punches. Goes for the rear naked choke at time. He dominated that round.
Danny Sabatello is a showman. He loves to talk smack, and he's delivering a smackdown in terms of his wrestling and his ground and pound on Jordell Lugo through 2 rounds. And I need to ask John, after 2 rounds, your unofficial scorecard, as Sabatello again searching for the takedown.
Yeah, he's shooting for it heavy. Right now, I got Sabatello up, way up, 17-20. I gave a 10-8 round to Danny Sabatello in the second.
And Sabatello working from a position he knows well in both of his Bellator MMA fights thus far. His wrestling has been dynamic. It's been dominant.
Danny Sabatello came into Bellator, takes on Brett Johns, 17-3. Now he's going against Jordell Lugo, undefeated. And he has dominated 2 very good fighters with his wrestling, with his pressure, and with his endurance, because it takes a lot to do what he's doing.
And yet, over these past few weeks, we've been treated to some dramatic comeback victories, and that's the thing about MMA. You can never count anyone out. Jordell Lugo yet to taste defeat, but he is tasting a lot of what Danny Sabatello brings to the cage. And it doesn't suit his palate.
No, it doesn't suit anyone's palate. You take as many shots. Jordell Lugo is showing his toughness, though. He is not quitting this. Look, we saw a fight earlier. One guy dominating the whole fight, and all of a sudden it turns in one instance, one mistake. Danny Sabatello cannot get too cocky. He needs to continue to do what he's been doing. He makes a mistake, Jordell Lugo can catch him.
Spike Carlisle, Dan Moret. Remember that one. And what a debut by Spike Carlisle in the Bellator MMA cage. And Danny Sabatello now beginning to assert even more dominance on Lugo, trying desperately to just neutralize Sabatello, and one, and the reversal by Lugo.
As we talked about, all it takes is one thing. Lugo, beautiful sweep, but Sabatello right back into the body. Sabatello now starting to win that position. There you go, brings him right back to the ground. And that is demoralizing. When you work so hard, you do something so well, you get that sweep, and now all of a sudden you're back in that same position. Look at him lace the arm. He's controlling the right arm of Jordell Lugo, opening up with his left.
And
that's why you see Lugo turning.
From the back, may elect to sink in a hook or two, but content to just ride the back and deliver these short strikes, and now put the hook in. And again, going to try for a rear naked choke. Again, Sabatello has 4 submission wins.
Yeah, he's going for a face crank right there. He's putting the squeeze on Jordell Lugo's face.
And his last submission win was via RNC back in June of 2020. And now Lugo on his back with 2 minutes left in the fight.
Relentless pressure by Danny Sabatello. He's like a never-ending detonation, just continues to just pop and go and move. Danny Sabatello, you're talking about a cardio monster. This guy is incredible.
A calling card for the folks down at American Top Team, who Sabatello trains with. In fact, has done a lot of training with Kyoji Horiguchi, the former Bellator Bantamweight champion, who was involved in the World Grand Prix, as Sabatello slams Lugo back to the canvas. Obviously, when the Grand Prix came about, the Horiguchi and Sabatello not spending as much time training together. And blood, sweat, and maybe tears on both sides following this one. 60 seconds left as Danny Sabatello laying the smack down on Jordell Lugo. 91-5 total strikes landed.
There's no doubt who's winning this fight. Danny Sabatello has just put on one hell of a performance against a really solid, good fighter, a guy with a great fight IQ. He just can't figure out the puzzle that is Danny Sabatello.
Well, we're always looking for new stars in mixed martial arts and combat sports. You want a guy who's able to sell himself, market himself, talk the talk, sell the fight, but you want a guy who can also fight the fight. And Danny Sabatello proving that he can fight the fight. And he may have just fought and should have just fought his way to the Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix.
Stop.
Danny Sabatello backed up all of the brash talk, and you know what? Exchanging, I believe, more respectful words there as he celebrates, and why not? We have to wait to make it official, John, but come on, MMA gods.
Nah, there's no way, there's no doubt.
Mike Brown, who's an amazing coach.
I think Mike Brown enjoyed that one. Take a look at Danny Sabatello here. Takes the back. Beautiful wrestling. You know, right away, goes to the neck, knows he doesn't have it, goes to the top position. Beautiful takedown, and at any time that he wanted, he was able to move himself to submission positions, good positions to land strikes. Here he is in that arm triangle. He just dominated this fight. Here's where he was at second round. Knows he's winning this, and he's winning it handily. Showboats to the crowd. Danny Sabatello, like you said, you could, if you can't, you know, if you talk the talk, you got to be able to back it up. You can just back it up.
And Danny Sabatello said that he is more than capable.
Andrew, I'm coming for your fucking hat.
I'll let him say it.
9 weeks, I'm coming for your fucking hat.
Well, I'd like to repeat what he said, but again, delivering those F-bombs like he delivered a lot of those bombs to the ground and pound and those explosive takedowns.
I know you're fucking watching. You're next.
He says if you follow the sport of MMA, you already know his name and you already know how good he is. He says, hey, if you know, you know. And by the way, Pusha T releasing a new album today, and well, we just saw some of the greatest hits from Danny Sabatello as we go. And let's find out who the winner is with Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, we go now to your 3 judges. All 3, Dane Ferruta, Sal D'Amato, Brian Miner, all seat exactly the same at 30-26. I'll have it for the winner by unanimous decision now. Entering the quarter final round of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix, Danny, the Italian gangster, Sabatello.
The Sabatello show has come to Bellator MMA, earning rave reviews. Let's go to Big John McCarthy. Let's see if he can get a word in edgewise.
I'm here with your winner, Danny Sabatello. Danny, we talk about talking the talk and then walking the walk. You just put on a masterful performance against an undefeated fighter. Talk to me about how you feel.
Yeah, I feel fucking great. It was a really good fucking performance by me. Sorry for swearing about that. Fuck that. But Jordell Lugo's an absolute stud. And for me to do that to a guy like him, I can beat any fucking body. And now Leandro Higo is next. It's a perfect fucking matchup, me and him. Because you look at him, he fucking sucks. You look at me, and I'm really good. Let's go.
Hey, I love it. Continue on. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the Italian gangster, Danny Sabatello.
Hey, Amanda, all I can say is Mama effing Mia.
I don't know if you guys noticed, Big John was counting there behind him. That was 5 from Danny Sabatello, but we anticipated that. All right, so he punches his ticket to the Bantam World Grand Prix. Let's take a look at where things stand right now. Danny Sabatello moving on. He is facing Higo. Josh, talk to us about not just that matchup, but how he could move his way through this tournament.
Yeah, he can move his way through this tournament. I've trained with Higo. He's very explosive on the ground. He is big for the weight. He is a dog on the feet. He's got no quit. Comes from the Pitbull Brothers camp. I mean, they are studs. So he's got his hands full with Higo, but he could potentially do what he did again tonight by stifling him with stuffing all the takedowns, or getting all the takedowns and stuffing all the submission attempts. Now him moving on to Rafael Stotts, if he's able to get past Higo and getting into Juan Archuleta, whoever wins that matchup, those guys are both very good wrestlers. That is a fight that is very interesting. So he could potentially not just talk the talk.
At that
but
point, you're making it into the finals.
And getting into the finals, he's that kind of fighter.
He's walking behind us right now. That's why we're looking.
The Italian gangster, like I said, is must-watch TV. Good thing we're on Showtime to put the mic in front of him.
Yeah, exactly. Look, we wanted that at the very end. His hair was platinum coming into this. We said, look, you win. You got to keep it throughout the tournament. It's a little pink right now, a little red with a little blood in there. Look, tonight is Bellator Fight for Our Heroes night, and we are a fan of some of our very own heroes at Bellator. We want to give them a shout-out. And let's start with the legendary Burt Watson. Look at him in his Hawaiian shirt. He is always dapper. He is a legend in the MMA community. He acts as every fighter's personal hype man. I wish you guys could see these weigh-ins before them. He hypes them up so much. He was drafted in 1970 to the Army, but he chose the way of the few, the proud, the U.S. Marine Corps. Burt's storied sports career started when he met Joe Frazier in 1980, and 42 years later, he was inducted into the International Sports Hall of Fame. We also want to talk about Matt Marsden, Bellator Cutman, works to prevent and treat physical damage. He followed the way of his family, joined the Army in 1998, and while in medic school in Fort Sam Houston, he met his future wife, AJ. They both served 8 years. In May, they will be married 20 years. Congratulations to them. And as always, of course, with the fighters, we have medics here on site. We would like to thank the American Medical Response for keeping us safe, serving the state of Hawaii since 1979 with more than 400 employees throughout the state. Mahalo to you. And as mentioned, tonight is just part one of 2 fight nights here in Hawaii, but it doesn't stop there. We're going to Europe.
Tomorrow night, our doubleheader in Paradise continues with a double dose of championship fights. Pound-for-pound queen and featherweight world champion Chris Cyborg battles Arlene Blenko in a rematch for Bellator Gold. Plus, the Bantamweight World Grand Prix gets underway with an interim title clash as former champ Juan Archuleta takes on Rafion Supa Stotts. Then May is a month of power, not flowers, when the Bellator cage heads to Europe for back-to-back world title clashes. While Paris may be the city of love, on Friday, May 6th, there will be no love lost as heavyweight champ Ryan Bader defends his belt against France's favorite son, Czech Congo, in a championship rematch from the Accor Arena. And the very next week at the OVO Arena, Wembley, on Friday, May 13th, London's own #1 ranked Michael Venom Page collides with Logan Storm Storley for the interim welterweight world championship. Then the Bellator cage returns stateside Friday, June 24th from Mohegan Sun Arena for yet another title tilt. Middleweight world champion Gegard Mousasi looks for his 50th career victory when he faces undefeated Johnny Evelyn. It's a globe-trekking Bellator Championship extravaganza, only on Showtime.
And still to come, our main event here tonight, the flyweight champ Juliana Velasquez, undefeated, putting her belt on the line for the second time here at Bellator. And she is going up against Liz Carmouche. Liz Carmouche, one of the best to not win a belt yet. But could that change for her tonight? We're going to find out very soon. Well, coming up next, though, our next fight, the final spot in the Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix. One of these guys is going to punch his ticket, I should say, right after this. We have Nikita Mikhailov going up against Enrique Barzola. I want to start with Nikita here. We asked him this week, we said, hey, where do you have the advantage? He's not a man of many words. He goes, I'm younger. This is true. There's about a 10-year difference between these guys. Only 23 years old, Nikita, but his skill set is so good. How does he use that tonight?
He's just got to be patient. He's got to pick and choose his shots. He's got to make sure that he's not pushed on his back foot for the whole fight. Technically, he is the better fighter all the way around. He's just got to use all those tools without being pulled into like a barn burner of a fight. He can't afford to be pulled into that dog fight, because if he is, he's going to expend energy that he needs to conserve for that third round, because Barzola will be there in the third round. Nikita is good on the ground. His wrestling is probably some of the best in the division, and he is a dog when he gets on top, when it comes to the ground and pound, as you're watching right here. He is one of the most well-rounded fighters there is in the game, and he's young. That's the biggest thing. When he said himself, I'm young, he's got a gas tank, and he fights a very smart fight, he's got a great chance of winning this fight tonight.
Again, just 23 years old, which makes us feel very old. But let's go to Barzola. I mean, you mentioned this. Look, he is a dog, and he's got the fight IQ. That may be his biggest advantage in this fight. How does he show the 23-year-old how it's done?
Just the experience. He's got to push him, make him feel uncomfortable. He's got to make sure he's always in the pocket, making him use energy that he doesn't want to use. Against Darren Caldwell, he lost the first 2 rounds, and he gave them up pretty convincingly. But he just kept plucking away, kept doing some work. And at the end, Darren Caldwell had no gas tank anymore to shoot his double legs, to even control the top position. And Barzola was still there, just grinding away, landing the elbows, landing the shots on the top. And you can see he has that energy about him that he brings to the cage that I can't be beat, and he will bring that in the 3rd round.
And again, whoever wins this fight gets that final spot in the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. Let's find out. Muro, back to you.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. Enrique Barzola 1-0-1 since he dropped down to 135 in March of 2019. Nikita Mikhailov, he brings a 5-fight winning streak into this wild card bout.
And now, to make his way to the cage, Nikita Mikhailov.
Just 23 years of age, taking the fight on short notice, replacing Canadian Josh Hill, and John mentioned his 5-fight winning streak, including 2 wins here in Bellator MMA and coming off a TKO victory over Blaine Shutt at Bellator 273 this past January. So again, may be young, but already showing signs of a very impressive career ahead.
Look, his only loss is 5 years ago. He was 18 years of age when he had that loss, and he'd been fighting since he was 16. This kid is good everywhere. He's got beautiful stand-up skills, good wrestling, good submission game. The real question for him is, can he control the pace of this and not allow Barzola to push him past what his comfort zone is?
A member of a Fedor team gets to pick the brain of one of the best to ever do it, Fedor Emelianenko, but tonight he will match his wits and his skills with Enrique Barzola.
And now, his opponent, Enrique El Fuerte Barzola.
Mikhailov is just 23. Barzola will turn 33 on April 28th. The proud Peruvian who made an ostentatious debut in his first fight here in Bellator, defeating former champion and NCAA Division I national champion wrestler Darren Caldwell via 3rd-round TKO. Barzola, John, in just 10 fights with his former employer, the UFC, secured 42 takedowns, an astounding statistic, especially for a South American where, well, wrestling isn't the first thing you think of.
He didn't start off as a wrestler, and he has just turned into a wrestling machine. The guy pushes the pace. He has gas for days. This guy's got lungs that go down into his thighs. He's amazing when it comes to the amount of pressure he can put. We'll see what he does here tonight.
Who will meet Magomedov in the opening round of the $1 million Bellator MMA Bantamweight World Grand Prix? Here's the tale of the tape for this wild card confrontation.
Really looking at this, it's the experience. Look at all those fights compared to just 10 for Mikhailov. 32 to 23 years of age. That is a big difference, but Nikita says that works to his advantage.
Here is Michael C. Williams.
Bellator MMA Live on Showtime continues now with the final wild card fight to gain entry into Bellator's $1 million Bantamweight World Grand Prix. Contracted at 140 pounds, it's set for 3 5-minute rounds. We introduce the blue corner. At 5'8", weighing in 139.4 pounds, his professional record, 9 wins, only 1 loss, presenting Nikita Mikhailov. And across the cage, his adversary fighting out of the red corner. At 5'7", weighing in 139.6 pounds as a professional. 17 wins, 5 losses, 2 draws. Introducing Enrique El Fuerte Barzola. And in charge, the referee, Jason Herzog.
So the wild card bout scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds using the unified rules of professional MMA. In the event of a draw, the fighters will compete in one additional sudden victory round, the results of which will determine which fighter will advance to the Bantamweight World Grand Prix. It officially gets underway tomorrow night, including a battle for the interim title with Sergio Pettis, the champion, on the sidelines with an injury. Former champion Juan Archuleta will meet Rafion Stotts, but here we are focused on Barzola versus Mikhailov. And Mikhailov launches a knee, closes the distance, looking for the takedown, and we know that Barzola is adept at takedowns and showing some takedown defense while trying to balance on one leg and delivering some vicious elbows, but the determined Mikhailov continues to seek the takedown and gets it.
But a nice job by Barzola to defend, get himself back to a position where he can fight the hands, try to get himself back to his feet, which he just did.
And the left hand by Mikhailov as they exit.
Although that flying knee didn't land, at least it shows the mindset of Mikhailov, that what he will do and what he will attempt to do in this fight.
In the first round from the Russian fighter.
That landed cleanly right along the right side, up near the eye area of Barzola. He felt that.
Exchange. Mikhailov coming forward with the lead left before switching to southpaw. Kick by Mikhailov, left hand.
Barzola creating a lot of pressure, but right now, has been able to make him pay for it.
But he did land that nice right hand by Barzola. Spinning, kick in that. Caught Barzola, he applauds the effort. Mikhailov looking for a highlight reel finish early, John.
There's a lot of pressure that Barzola is bringing on Mikhailov. And when you're not used to being the guy where someone else is controlling that pace, you have to adapt and find those moments to get him off of you. So far, Mikhailov he's landed some tricky stuff, but all those spinning attacks, they take a lot of energy more.
Must have been watching tape of Alexander Shlemenko taken off his feet by Barzola. Now Barzola opening up on Mikhailov.
And this right now, there's a mentality that you're seeing. You saw Mikhailov almost accept that position. That is not good to see this early on in the fight.
Momentary lapse in concentration, it appeared there. And Barzola exploded with some ground and pound offense. Now has position to deliver the knee strike.
There's a beautiful knee to the body. Barzola needs to really take advantage of this right now, start to open up on him. That was a clean left hand.
And a couple more. And Barzola lighting up Mikhailov. Mikhailov neutralizing the left hand, but takes the knee from behind, and another attempt at a knee by Barzola. Good reversal by Mikhailov.
You've got to watch his neck.
Barzola has 4 submission wins, all 4 via rear naked choke. Under a minute left in the first round of this wild card bout. Either Barzola or Mikhailov will advance to the opening round of the World Grand Prix and meet Magomedov. 45 seconds left in the opening round.
Mikhailov really working hard for this takedown. He's on that single leg, but he's not in good position. Nice job by Barzola. Pulls him out of it. Look who ends up in the top position.
With under 30 left, Barzola now going to work from top position. Mikhailov hoping to keep him at close quarters, but that right hand is open, and he's attacking the head of Mikhailov. Unfettered strikes, and now some elbows as well. Good opening 5 minutes of this wild card bout between Enrique Barzola and Nikita Mikhailov. Ends with a wild scramble.
Tonight here at Blaze Down the Arena, you can catch the merch stand in Bellator MMA apparel back by the entranceway. You can also
Still to come here in our special night of Bellator MMA action. Fight for our heroes. Undefeated lightweight champion Juliana Velasquez will defend against U.S. Marine number 2 ranked Liz Carmouche, who seeks her 4th straight Bellator MMA victory and hopes to finally win a major MMA championship in her 4th crack at the gold. What an intriguing matchup in the main event to determine who will walk out of this arena flyweight queen.
Enrique, you understand me about the back of the head, right? Aim for the ear, okay? Ear or temple, you understand? Yeah, we got you. I got you. Second round, fighter ready? Fighter ready? Fight!
Bell, round number 2. Who did you like in that first round and why, John?
Oh, there's no doubt in my mind that Barzola took that, which was very impressive because Mikhailov came off, starting off fast. Barzola was able to stop that progression, started taking over control of the fight. He's the one that got taken as he landed some big shots on the ground. It's the round.
Barzola has tournament experience, won the Ultimate Fighter Latin America 2. Would love to book passage to the 8-man bantamweight Grand Prix. Of course, Mikhailov happy to get this opportunity despite it being on short notice after Josh Hill was forced to pull out of this wild card bout, and delivers a kick. Left uppercut, but it's Barzola that gets the better of the exchange, John, tagging Mikhailov upstairs.
Not only upstairs, tagging the body also.
Left hand to the body by Mikhailov. And Mikhailov goes for the takedown, stuffed by Barzola.
The pressure is starting to get to Mikhailov. You can see that he's starting to have problems with that, just controlling that space. He can't get comfortable.
And that's got to be as annoying as autocorrect.
Yeah, that's nothing. You're not looking at anything with it. Just trying to annoy him to get him to move.
Knee to the belly, has to be careful. Knees to the chest area. Mikhailov blocking, trying to find a way to get up to his feet. Meanwhile, Barzola attacking the legs there.
Yeah, Barzola, he's trying to be tactical. He's trying to, precision strikes, but you got to be careful.
Midway point of the round and of the fight. Barzola from top position, even the short strikes, delivering the right hands. Mikhailov trying to just neutralize the offense of Barzola, trying to find a way to get back to his feet, gives up his back now.
He's got to do something, so I do not blame him for doing exactly what he just did, because if he's going to stay on his back there, he is in trouble. So you've got to make that move. You got to go for it.
His one loss was via submission, and it's Barzola looking for the rear naked choke.
Barzola's got a real chance at this. He gets it on free.
All 4 of his submissions have come via RNC. Looking to make it 5 for 5. Mikhailov defending it, and Mikhailov escapes.
Good work by Mikhailov to get himself out of that. He was always trying to control that locking hand, which was not ever set. Barzola is just non-stop motion. He gives you no chance to breathe, no chance to reset.
Working at American Kickboxing Academy.
Looking at that Darce.
We're no less an authority that Javier Mendez says that Barzola's a future Bellator bantamweight champion. Looking good here tonight against Nikita Mikhailov.
All over him.
Nice escape. Nice escape by Mikhailov. Now he's on his feet. He attacks Barzola's back. Under a minute left in the second round.
Beautiful change of position by Mikhailov. He's got the back now.
Takes him down, the master of sports in combat sambo, and Barzola back to his feet, and he now tries to take Mikhailov down against the fence and does so right into full mount. Well done by Barzola. And again, Mikhailov looking for the backdoor escape, and then this time he's in the clutches of Enrique Barzola with his bread and butter in the submission department, the rear naked choke.
Right now, that is tight. Got a lot of pressure on that, going palm to palm now. Mikhailov, beautiful job of just creating a little bit of space.
And forcing Barzola to release the grip. 10 seconds left in the second round. It's all Enrique Barzola in his second trip to the Bellator MMA cage. Well, the veteran just days away from turning 33, taking it to the 23-year-old youngster, Nikita Mikhailov, John.
Mikhailov just looked over at that 32-year-old and was like, maybe being younger isn't better, because he is all over him right now.
Ya está. Ahora esta pelea, este tercero lo vamos a manejar con inteligencia. Mismo trabajo. Manos y lucha.
Javier Mendez in the background.
¿Me entiendes? No es mejor que
there
tú.
with him.
Yep.
Ya viste.
This was Mikhailov getting...
Mihailov's highlight?
That's his highlight for the round. He got that takedown there, but right away it was Barzola being able to get himself back to the top position, gets the takedown, gets the back, goes for the choke. That is again Mikhailov with his one highlight of the round, really. Barzola just dominating the pace, the place, and the positioning of the fight. This is what makes Barzola so tough. His gas tank is just incredible.
He talked about it. He says, I have great cardio. And as you mentioned, it's all about the pressure, both physically and mentally. And ground control to Major Tom. It's all Enrique Barzola. And there's Mikhailov just missing with that right hand. And really, he has to throw more of those kinds of shots. And there's sportsmanship. But yeah, Mikhailov now has to do whatever it takes, stuff like that. Going back to the well with a spinning back fist. Landed one of those in the opening round.
Mikhailov still has speed, though. I thought he was really tired at the end of that second round, but he's come out in this one. He's throwing strikes, and he's actually trying to control that position.
Trying to answer questions here, looking for the single leg. And again, Barzola defending well against the fence. 1 minute gone in the final round.
Mikhailov holding on to that single leg. Barzola pushing that head down. All that weight. You see Mikhailov get his head up. Better position for him to possibly pull this leg out and get that single leg takedown.
Of course, John, here in the third round, perspiration becoming an issue as well, becoming slippery, but the scramble ensues between Barzola and Mikhailov. Barzola back to his feet, looking to put Mikhailov against the fence, and boy, what a war of attrition here, John.
My goodness, you take a look. Mikhailov worked so hard for that, did a beautiful job, grabbed the ankle, controlled the position, and Barzola just worked his way out of it all the way to the top. This is what we talked about. Do not settle. Win the scrambles, and that's what Barzola is doing. He is winning these exchanges, he's winning the scrambles, and he's ending up on top. That's why he's winning this fight.
2 minutes gone in the final round. Mikhailov's 11th fight, Barzola's 25th professional outing. Experience looking now here.
Barzola looking for that anaconda.
And the anaconda been on display throughout the evening here in Hawaii. Attempts at that choke-mate finish by Milton Vieira. Top team. Factoid for you. Midpoint of the third round and some good scrambles here, John.
You know, great work by both guys. Barzola just keeps on flowing from one technique to the next. Mikhailov fights it off and finds himself just after he gets out of one. Here comes the second. He's got to work his way through it.
And man, you talk about pressure.
Barzola has been non-stop, just riding on top, which means Mikhailov has been carrying that weight for much of this fight.
Exhausting pace here by Barzola, who has been right on Mikhailov. Under 2 minutes left here in the third round, now creating some distance to deliver some knee strikes, and again with Mikhailov on the ground has to be careful. Mikhailov exploding, sprawl by Barzola, and has Mihailov's back again. Looking for that rear naked choke one more time.
He's got to hide that hand, that locking hand.
Mihailov's lone loss
has
was
a
via
chance.
submission.
He's under the chin now. He's got a good chance of making this work.
He's made it work on 4 different occasions.
Not on this one. Mikhailov able to get that hand, control that hand.
And now is Barzola switching. And Mikhailov putting on a desperate fight for survival. Under a minute left in the fight.
When you're tired and you got a guy on you like Barzola is all over Mikhailov.
But no quit in Mikhailov. Back to his feet. 45 seconds left.
Clean right hand landed by Barzola. Just a beautiful exhibition of what pressure and the grind will do, because Barzola has been all over Mikhailov this entire fight.
Hammer fists, 20 seconds left in the fight. Mikhailov continues to be under duress here, courtesy of Enrique Barzola. It doesn't appear that youth will be served in this welterweight bout. Enrique Barzola, just days ahead of his 33rd birthday, turns in a dominant performance, John.
Unbelievable performance by Barzola.
And an unbelievable survival skills by Mikhailov. He was in a lot of trouble.
Mikhailov fought his butt off in this fight. He was just in against the guys that, look, more experience, understood what he needed to do in this fight, and just did not let Mikhailov breathe.
The American military, frontline workers, first responders in attendance, showing their appreciation for the efforts of Enrique Barzola, representing AKA and utilizing his takedowns and putting that pressure on Nikita Mikhailov. And speaking of wrestling, Barzola, who had made takedowns a part of his repertoire in the UFC, bringing that attack to Bellator MMA. Remember, he vanquished a former NCAA Division I champion and former Bellator champion, Darion Caldwell, in his debut. And here, against Nikita Mikhailov, using his wrestling to just wear down Mikhailov and deliver bursts of offense. And from where I'm sitting, Enrique Barzola has booked passage to face Magomedov in the opening round of the Bantamweight World Grand Prix, but it's not up to me. It's up to Michael C. Williams to deliver the verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the decision, your three judges at cage side: Mike Bell, Mike Onzuka, Brian Miner. All three seed exactly the same at 30-27 for the winner by unanimous decision, earning his place in the quarterfinal round of Bellator's $1 million Bantamweight World Grand Prix, Enrique El Fuerte Barzola.
El Fuerte, Spanish for the strong. And Enrique Barzola with a strong outing to make it to the Bantamweight World Grand Prix, where he will meet Magomedov. Let's go to Amanda Guerra.
And that man right there now gets to fight for $1 million. The Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix. It is set. He won the final spot in Josh. If that's any indication of what we can expect from him, that was a dominant performance.
He just systematically took apart Mikhailov every step of the way. I mean, he did exactly what he was supposed to do. I was expecting him to lose the first round because Mikhailov is so good in the first round and he just picks people apart. He's such a technician. But Barzola just looked dominant from beginning to end. It took him like a minute to get warmed up. And I can't imagine the rest of these fights are going to go 5 rounds because that was a 3-round fight. The rest of these fights in the tournament are 5 rounds. He only gets better as the fight goes on. So Magomedov better be prepared because this fight's going to go everywhere.
He gets warmed up in the second round. He's cruising by 2. All right, it is time for our main event, the women's flyweight belt. It is on the line. Undefeated champ Juliana Velasquez going up against Liz Carmouche. Liz Carmouche has never won a belt yet. It has eluded her thus far, but she thinks she can do it, and she thinks her background will help her get there.
You know, I take a lot of pride in many aspects of my life. I'm a mother, I'm a wife, of course, an MMA fighter, but very importantly, I'm also a United States Marine. I take a lot of pride in being a Marine. There's pride in saying and identifying as that name. I am a Marine. There's something different about them. They're tough, they're gritty. There's a pride in who they are as they identify as a person, how they wear that uniform, and it was something I connected with. And I knew that if I was going to join the military, there was only one branch I could join. It had to be the Marine Corps. You know, I served from 2004 until 2009. I deployed 3 times to a combat zone in Iraq during Iraqi freedom. I was an electrician fixing helicopters. And then not only that, but my last time I was kind of on that cusp of where you can get out of the Marine Corps or you can extend your contract a little more and go out and help your unit. So I decided to extend my contract just so I could go out one more time to help my units and make sure that they were set to succeed in Iraq.
Liz Carmouche, she is so excited to be here under the Bellator flag.
I think it's fair to say I'm an MMA journeywoman. You know, I've been doing this for a dozen years now. I fought in the beginning when Strikeforce was the biggest MMA show for women, then went on to Invicta, then to the UFC, now to be in Bellator, and just trying to be a legend in everything that I do. You know, I have fought for different titles multiple times throughout my career. The only way for me to have kept in the sport and to evolve as much as I have is to take lessons away from every single experience. When I look at the journey of title fights, I started off with Marlos Conan and Strikeforce.
While Liz Gorilla Carmouche gets the title shot sooner than anyone thought.
And then making history with Ronda Rousey. And then we go to, undoubtedly, what a lot of people say, Valentina Shevchenko as being the best. Had I won that fight, I wouldn't be where I am today. That fight opened the door of Bellator, which was a place I was knocking on for so long. Like, hey, will you guys please take me in? You know, Bellator's been great to me. I mean, everything I've tried to do in these last 3 fights with Bellator is to show them, no, I am the best. I deserve to get this belt, and I'm going to show you. And now I get a shot at the undefeated champ, Juliana Velasquez.
Presenting the defending Bellator flyweight world champion, Juliana Velasquez.
I would say that Juliana's fighting credentials so far have been pretty good, but not good enough to beat me. She's well known for being a judokan. You know, I think that's what a lot of people put into her game, but she's also good at striking. She's very elusive, very evasive. Her ground game isn't very well known though, and that's a place that I'd like to put her in some deep, dark waters. But at the same time, I like the idea of taking on judokan with their own moves. So really, at any point, at any turn, I'm looking forward to giving her her first loss.
It's over. The MMA world wanted Liz Carmouche to make a statement, and did she?
There's always pressure coming up for this 4th time now fighting for a world title. If I just want to go out there and put on the best show and the best representation, like I always try to do. This is going to be my platform to showcase everything I have to offer. And while I love always coming to the underdog, that at some point that story has to change and those lines have to change, I absolutely feel like I have to win. Semper Fidelis means always faithful. It's the fighting spirit that every Marine brings with them into battle, and it's that same fighting spirit that I bring with me every time I step into that cage. It's time we bring that belt back to the United States where it belongs.
And now, set to make her way to the cage, the challenger, Liz Guerrilla Carmouche.
Arguably the best fighter who's never held a women's major MMA title, gone toe-to-toe with the best, has victories over the likes of Valentina Shevchenko and Jessica Andrade, and boy, took just 35 seconds to dispose of Kana Watanabe in her last fight, saying she wanted to make a strong statement so she could secure an opportunity to fight for the title. She did just that, John. She says she's been preparing since July of last year, has won all 3 of her fights here in Bellator MMA, and now at 38 really has a chance to author a storybook ending in a place that means so much to her, in front of people that means so much to her.
I think that's the big thing right there, Muro. It's the people that are in this arena right now mean so much to Liz Carmouche. She needs to make this a dogfight. She needs to get in the middle of Juliana and keep the pressure on her, be in her grill, and force her into making mistakes so you get the takedown. And when you get the takedown, use that jiu-jitsu and use that ground and pound.
The defending Bellator Flyweight World Champion, Juliana. Gentlemen, Bellator MMA live on Showtime from Blaisdell Arena. The time has come for tonight's main event, 5 5-minute rounds for the Bellator Flyweight World Championship. Sanctioned by the Hawaii State Athletic Commission, Executive Officer James Skizuski. And now, from here in Honolulu, we introduce the blue corner. At 5'6", weighing in 125 pounds even, the two-time, two-weight class world title challenger tonight in her first Bellator world title fight stands with 16 professional victories, 7 defeats. Ladies and gentlemen, the U.S. Marine Corps veteran fighting out of Okinawa, Japan by way of San Diego, California, the challenger, Liz Guerrilla. And across the cage, the champion fights out of the red corner at 5'6", weighing in 124.8 pounds. In her second title defense, she enters with an undefeated professional record of 12-0 from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Introducing the defending Bellator Flyweight World Champion, Juliana Velasquez. In charge, Lance Corporal, United States Marine Corps Infantry, Mike Beltran.
We've been over the rules already. Protect yourself at all times. Obey my commands at all times. Handcuffs down if you want. At the sound of the bell, come on out. Handle your business, ladies. Let's go.
This special night culminates with a battle for the gold. The Bellator MMA Flyweight Championship. Juliana Velasquez set to defend it for the second time against Liz Carmouche, who is 5-2 since she dropped down to 125 in December of 2017. Bell, round one, scheduled for 5. And remember, it took just over half a minute for Carmouche to punch her way to this championship opportunity in her last fight, and she walks down the champion early.
This is exactly what I expect to see out of Liz Carmouche. You cannot sit there and wait. You've got to create these situations. You've got to create your opportunities. Don't get into a long-range battle with Juliana. Press her forward. Like what I'm seeing out of Liz right now.
It was Carmouche's first victory via form of knockout since she stopped Jessica Andrade in July of 2013. So, long time coming as Velasquez fires off a left hand inside. Low kick by Carmouche. Another kick to the leg
and all of those
by the
kicks,
challenger.
All of those kicks, Muro, are needed by Liz. She needs to continue to attack those legs, slow down that movement of Juliana.
A minute has elapsed in the first round. The challenger continues to stomp the champion. Carmouche from the southpaw stance, but moving back to orthodox, and you'll see both stances on display. Inside calf kick, another calf kick by the challenger, and Carmouche closes the distance in the exchange shots.
Juliana's always very heavy on that front leg, so it's going to be there for Liz to attack.
And both are counter fighters at heart, and Velasquez showing some crisp counter punching here against Carmouche.
She is, but notice the exits by Liz. She's landing that last shot, which is important. Juliana already showed not a whole lot of fighters like to fight off their back foot, or actually are good at it. She showed against Denise Kielholtz she can do it, and she can land good shots. So this is not unusual for her as far as moving backwards, but Liz needs to take that and make it uncomfortable.
Oh, and there Carmouche lands a left on the champion's chin, and there the champion fires off a 1-2 combination from the southpaw stance that scored.
Champion's landed a couple of very clean, straight left hands.
Of course, Valentina Shevchenko is southpaw. While Carmouche owns a victory over her the last time they met, that proved to be a big problem, and Carmouche talked about facing a southpaw in Velasquez and the adjustments and the changes she needs to make. Of course, longtime training partner with Alima Lay McFarland, and would love to gain a measure of revenge for her training partner, who, of course, is back at it tomorrow night here in her home turf.
Very nice straight left hand landed by Juliana there, but still relentless pressure coming forward by Liz, but the output needs to start notching it up.
Yeah, Carmouche has thrown 30 strikes, landed 10. Velasquez 8 of 17 according to our statistical department. There's a nice jab to the midsection by Velasquez. Doesn't follow up with the left and then backpedals, resets, but the pressure continues to be administered by Carmouche.
Liz is starting getting into a little bit of she's following. You don't want to follow, you want to cut off that ring.
Tactical opening, 4 minutes of this championship fight. Leg kick by Carmouche, another jab to the body by Velasquez. Feints with the kick.
Carmouche has landed quite a few more kicks. That's the real difference in this round right now that I'm seeing.
Yep, 10 of 11 compared to 1 of 3 for the champion, John. But the champion, Velasquez, putting together a good textbook 1-2 from the southpaw stance.
But the big thing, she's got to get past the 1-2 into the 3-4.
High kick by Carmouche. Both of them have to be careful, tuck those chins. 10 seconds, Carmouche catches the kick, clinches with Velasquez, both known for savvy work within the clinch, but the clock will run out in the opening round. We mentioned her, there she is, the inaugural flyweight champion, Alima Lay McFarland. It's always a happening when she fights in her native Hawaii, and she returns to action following the longest layoff of her career. She will face Justine Kish tomorrow night, Bellator 279, right here at Neal S. Blaisdell Arena in Honolulu. She is cheering on her longtime friend Liz Carmouche. In fact, Carmouche signed her Bellator MMA contract here in Honolulu. So this place has a special meaning for her, and not a bad start for the challenger.
Not a bad start for either. I thought the big difference were the kicks by Liz Carmouche. A couple of good shots landed there in the stand-up. I thought that Velasquez landed a couple of very nice straight left hands. Carmouche coming over the top. Little right, left landing. Not a ton of power on it. But the leg kicks are something that Liz needs to stick with. They had an effect in the beginning of the round. She kind of got away from them a little bit towards the end of that first round. She needs to get back to it.
And Velasquez might want to dip into that arsenal as well, as we've seen in the past. Of course, she is a judoka. Carmouche is a 10th.
Oh, beautiful hand by Juliana.
And dropping Carmouche in the second round, the first knockdown of the fight. And now another 1-2 by the champion.
That was a clean, straight down the pipe left hand by Juliana.
And Carmouche bouncing right back to her feet, but she has tasted the power. Going upstairs with a high kick. Velasquez, 12-0 with 4 knockouts. Carmouche has tasted the power, now looking for the takedown. That's her first takedown attempt, and she secures it.
Very nice job by Liz, and this is something she needs to do. Good job of trying to lace the legs here. She's trying to figure 4 of those. We'll see if she can get to it. She does. And she needs to get Juliana's back off of that fence material onto the canvas. It sounds easy to do, but it's very difficult. There's a whole lot of technique going on from both women right here. Juliana to stay in that upright position. Liz trying to create pressure, but not get to the point where it's so light that all of a sudden Juliana can start to pull her feet out. See Liz reaching out for that right arm. She's got the wrist. She can control that, get that elbow now off the ground, and she can use her head as a third arm to drive Juliana towards that canvas.
Strength from Liz Carmouche on display, managing to keep that right arm neutralized and taking small steps, trying to move up.
Little tiny moves make big differences. You see her trying to get that, lace that arm. Now she's got that arm where she can hold it with the right arm.
The champion not panicking. Velasquez up against the fence. And now the pass by Carmouche coming up on the midpoint of the second round.
A lot of pressure by Liz right now. Driving straight down into Juliana, keeping her in that position. Opens up with that left hand. Remember, she's got that right hand holding onto the right arm of Juliana.
Velasquez up against the fence, going to get back to her feet and does so. Just over 2 minutes left in the second round, so Velasquez back to her feet, but it's still Carmouche putting the pressure on her, putting all her weight against her on the fence, and delivers a knee to the inside thigh. Another knee by Carmouche to the champion.
The champion's sitting there with that wizard. Many times judokas love the wizard, even over the underhook.
An old school veteran at heart, the foot stomps. And every time we see foot stomps, we gotta give a shout out to the king of the streets, Marco Huas. I think it's in the contract, John. A minute and a half remaining in the second. Carmouche doing whatever it takes to keep the champion off balance. But it's champion now. Velasquez has Carmouche against the fence.
Nice job by Juliana to switch the position. You see Liz digging that underhook. Beautiful knee to the body.
Man, the clinch is an area where a lot of pundits were interested in seeing what would materialize, and we're seeing it unfold here with just over a minute left in the second round.
Well, like we talked about it, Liz Carmouche is possibly the strongest 125-pound female fighter you'll find, and I think Juliana is second. So they're both used to being able to kind of bully their way with the other women in the division.
And they're jockeying for position here. They're taking turns here in this clinch battle, final minute of the second round. And again, every taxing second, and Velasquez showing she's adept at delivering a foot stomp as well. And knee strike by Carmouche, and the trip takedown by Velasquez. With 20 seconds left, Velasquez secures her first takedown. Carmouche very comfortable on her back, of course, with training 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu black belt, Eddie Bravo and company. Good stuff through 2 rounds of this flyweight championship fight. And John, your unofficial scorecard read?
You know, unofficially, I got to give the round to Velasquez. If you recall at the beginning, she knocked her down with a straight left hand. That was a big telling shot. Here it comes right here. That put Liz on her butt. That was a clean shot. Now, Liz got the takedown, and she was doing good positional work, but she wasn't able to inflict much damage on Juliana. Juliana was able to get a takedown of her own. That knockdown is a big part of what the judges are going to look at. This is a beautiful takedown by Liz to get Juliana to the ground, but again, wasn't able to do much as far as doing damage. She did some good work, but not enough to make up, in my mind, for the knockdown.
Velasquez representing Team Noguera, Carmouche representing the Arena MMA. 4th opportunity at a major MMA title, the 2nd defense for Juliana Velasquez after a narrow split decision win over Denise Kielholtz in her first challenge. Her first title defense, and now trying to hold off the challenge of Liz Carmouche, round number 3. Calf kick by Carmouche. Big John has it even, heading into the third. Of course, the fight would become official after this third round. We know what happened a week ago in the final of the $1 million light heavyweight World Grand Prix between Corey Anderson and the champion Vadim Nemkov, resulting in a no contest after an accidental head clash, and hopefully they will conclude that tournament. Bantamweight Grand Prix getting underway tomorrow, but Velasquez with a left hand here in her flyweight title defense. And Carmouche has to be careful, John, when she comes in because her chin is exposed.
Absolutely. Her chin's starting to get a little high when she comes in as she's throwing her shots. And you're starting to see a change in the momentum of this fight. Look at who's moving forward now.
Yes, the champion.
Look who's on her back foot. Again, Liz going after that leg. I think she needs to continue to work that leg as much as possible.
Numbers are interesting in terms of punches landed and thrown. Big edge for Velasquez, as we talked about. A big edge for Carmouche when it comes to kicks.
And it's that left hand. Liz is having a hard time figuring out the straight left hand by Juliana. She's setting it up well, and she's getting Liz into her range, throwing that jab out, following it up. Nothing fancy, nothing special, but she's being effective.
Double jab, then delivers the left. And we talked about total kicks landed. Cavalcade for Carmouche, 19 of 23 compared to 1 of 4 for Velasquez, but Velasquez been content to be a headhunter. And as you mentioned, that left hand has been key.
Beautiful. Catching that kick
and delivers the left.
And you notice how she caught it with the right, moved it off to set up the straight left hand. Beautiful technique. Yeah.
Midway point of the third round, another left hand from Velasquez, flashing the jab again, going down the middle, and Carmouche has to take her head off center line, try to find a way to navigate a path to the champion, use angles. There's a kick that lands, calf kick by the challenger. But you're right, John, she's now on her back foot. It's Velasquez putting the pressure on the challenger.
Yeah, Velasquez has become the sniper here. She's just setting up that left hand. She's looking for opportunities to land it. Carmouche sometimes upsets her balance, upsets her positioning with that low leg kick, but not enough to stop what Juliana's starting to set up.
There's another solid left hand that connects for the champion Velasquez.
That was a clean, straight shot. Liz really needs to start to change this up because she's starting to eat that left hand repeatedly, and now you're seeing Juliana, as we talked about before, she will go downstairs to the body, set it up, then come back up top.
Velasquez left hand. Result of the lone takedown, the knockdown, but now a takedown by Carmouche.
Important takedown for Carmouche. Look, she was starting to lose that stand-up, clearly lose it. She needed to change the aspect of this fight. That's what she's doing with this takedown. Let's see what she can do. She's only got a minute left.
Yep, and it's her second takedown of the fight. The champion delivering some elbows from the bottom.
And right now, she got the takedown. Great technique, got it there. She hasn't thrown one strike. And Juliana, although they're from her back, she's throwing the elbows. She's the one that's being the aggressor.
Got to be careful about those elbow strikes to the back of the head, but they're legal.
That's right to the top of the head. That is clean.
Under 30 seconds left in the third round. Close guard of Velasquez. Wide base by Carmouche, but her posture being controlled effectively by the champion. Speaking of the champion, we are headed to the championship rounds of our Bellator 278 main event. A little can opener action from Carmouche as we go to round number 4.
rest, Liz. How you feeling? Good? That entry's there anytime. That entry's there anytime, again.
Tá tomando a queda boba, né? Tu viu ela entrando, não deu sprawl. Tá bom. A gente foi dominante o round todo. Só esse finalzinho que ela deu a queda não fez nada, tá? Esse round foi nosso, tá bom? Só que olha só.
There's that straight left landed right on the jawline of Liz Carmouche. And that left hand has been the big difference in this fight. Juliana's been able to land heavy shots continuously in the last couple rounds, and it's making a difference. This was a great takedown by Liz to get to the top position, but once she got there, Muro, there just wasn't any real effective offensive output.
Okay, John Corner has administered its instructions heading into the championship rounds. Challenger Liz Carmouche, champion Juliana Velasquez. Here heading into round 4, the biggest adjustment you would like to see each make, beginning with the champion.
With the champion, what I want to do is don't allow the takedown. You're controlling this now in the stand-up.
Oh, and there's a knockdown with the left hand.
A little bit off balance, I think, also.
Yep, also.
What caused it.
And for Carmouche?
Carmouche, you have got to work into this clinch area and now work to get this to the ground. You've got to get to the top position. But when you get there, you have to be busy. Juliana doing a great job of raising that underhook with her right arm. That's what was able to turn Liz to get her back against the cage. Little techniques, little things that make differences. Right now, Juliana with double unders.
Velasquez, 35, didn't start training MMA until the age of 27. Undefeated, including 7 wins under the Bellator MMA banner. Eats a couple of knees from the challenger Carmouche, but then Velasquez turns Carmouche and they continue to balance. There's the judoka going for a judo throw, takedown, but defended by Carmouche.
Not really defended. The defense helped a lot in that one, but it was...
Well, it didn't result in the takedown.
She's getting herself back to her feet. But you can really see a difference right now in their effectiveness in the fight. Juliana starting to be the one that is, for the most part, starting to control the position, starting to control where this fight's going to be.
Well, we've seen in the past where Liz Carmouche comes on late to take rounds, and that may be the case here now. Under 3 minutes left in the 4th, and again, she eats that left hand down the middle, needs to take her head off center line, tries to attack the legs of the champ.
She's leaning back, and you don't want to be in that position because you can only lean back so far. Then Juliana makes the proper adjustment and brings her feet into play. That shot's going to land. She's going to be off balance, and she's going to end up on the ground.
Another left hand, this one to the body of Carmouche. Past the midway point of the 4th. 1-2 combination scores for the champion. And now Carmouche storms the champion. And it's the champion now utilizing footwork and being able to move to her right. 2 minutes left in the round.
Good timing by Liz to take advantage of that left hand that Juliana threw, but she ends up, now she's got Juliana's back against the cage. She's got to work for this takedown.
left in the fourth. Velasquez puts Carmouche on the fence, and it's this gritty battle for positioning. And Carmouche spins Velasquez to the canvas.
Caught that leg, controlled it with that spin. Beautiful takedown by Liz. Not much time left, though.
40 seconds left to work from side control, and she definitely needs to up the attack. 30 seconds left in the round. She's trying to neutralize the right arm of the champion, and now looking to deliver some ground and pound. Crucifix position. Short elbow strikes.
There's a couple good ones in there.
Referee stops the fight. We've got a new flyweight champion.
Not too sure about that stoppage, Muro. I don't think she was eating any heavy shots. I don't think she was in trouble.
A look of incredulity on the face of Juliana Velasquez.
Yeah. I mean, it's always the referee's decision to make that stoppage, but I didn't see where I thought she was in trouble. I thought she was in trouble with the crucifix as far as the positioning. She was going to have to work her way through it, eat some shots. But
that's her wife that she exchanged a kiss with through the cage. Braylon Chapman, her 6-year-old son Grant is also in attendance, but disappointment for Juliana Velasquez, who in her second title defense loses her championship in what will be a highly debated decision by the referee, Mike Beltran.
Right, 2 shots, 3 shots. This is a championship fight. You got to let that champion work. I'm not saying that she wasn't getting hit, but those are not real heavy elbows. Mike Beltran thinks he sees something. Right now, Juliana's corner is not happy with that stoppage.
You do not want to take anything away from the journey that Liz Carmouche has taken in her mixed martial arts career, but this one will be talked about on the forums, on social media. It will officially go down as Liz Carmouche becoming the 3rd Bellator MMA flyweight champion. She talked about this being serendipity. Here in Hawaii, a place that reminds her of Okinawa, Japan, where she spent her childhood. The U.S. Marine, who on this night fight for our heroes in front of military members, frontline workers, and first responders. Carmouche has realized her dream, but it's a nightmare scenario. Let's go to Michael C. Williams.
Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Bellator cage, it comes to an end. 4 minutes, 47 seconds into round number 4. The winner by knockout, and now the new Bellator Flyweight World Champion, Liz Carmouche.
Lima McFarland, the former flyweight champion who has trained with Liz Carmouche. Let's go to Big John McCarthy.
I'm here with your new champion, Liz Carmouche. I know this is a special moment for you. How are you feeling at this time?
I'm feeling great. It was a much tougher fight than what I anticipated, but I'm so happy to do it here in front of all of our troops, our first responders, my wife, my friends. Thank you so much.
You got to a great position at the end of that fight. You got the crucifix. You started landing some elbows. Did you think the referee was going to come in and stop it at that time?
I certainly hope so. I know that if she squirmed a little bit more, I had some other answers for that. That would have been really bad for her, so I'm glad he stopped it when she did.
Talk to me about her left hand, because her left hand seemed to be giving you some troubles throughout the fight, and you started really going towards the takedowns to get away from it.
Yeah, we were talking about utilizing the takedowns and how he was underutilizing them in the past. And so it wasn't even more of her left hand. It was more, why am I not using this? I should be. There's no reason I should just be standing here taking this.
I want to tell you that was a beautiful performance. Congratulations on your first championship, the flyweight champion, Liz Carmouche.
Thank you to Pufa and Marshall Inu. To my wife, my family, friends, thank you so much for sacrificing everything you do so I could be here tonight.
Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Liz Gorilla Carmouche.
38-year-old Liz Carmouche posing with Bellator MMA president Scott Coker. She is the new Bellator MMA flyweight champion. A feel-good moment for the veteran, but and exchanging a victorious kiss with her wife. But Amanda, Josh, this one will be debated, a cloud of controversy.
It definitely will. It's going to be debated for months to come. You saw the look on Juliana Velasquez's face when they called that fight. Josh, you were cage side. You ran up here. What did you think of that decision?
I was listening to Big John and exactly what he said. This is a title fight, and I'm a huge Beltran fan as a referee. He's called he's been a ref in some of my face. This fight has to be allowed to continue. The shots are not damaging. Okay, sure, they're no different than when someone's just touching you with their paw, with their glove lightly. Juliana Velasquez has every reason to be upset. Look, you can put aside that I had her up 3-0 going into that round.
At that point, she was winning in your opinion.
And that round was kind of going back and forth. I had Liz probably winning that round. But the thing is, this is a title fight. There's so many implications. The title is on the line. You have an undefeated fighter, someone who has shown that she can go through this adversity. This is not the way you want your title fights to end. It doesn't matter, or your main event. But I will say this, though. I'm not trying to take anything away from Liz. I said this when we were leading up to this fight. She's a dog. She will be in there in the end of the fight. Rounds 4 and 5, she was picking it up. So Juliana had to definitely be prepared for that. But this is not how you want your title fights to end. This is not how you want your main event to end. But this is, I'm hoping to see an automatic rematch because it was shaping up and it was a good fight.
That was going to be my next question. You would like to see a rematch, as I'm sure a lot of people would at home. Maybe we'll see that.
Bottom line is, got to tip my hat to Liz, though. Great job, because at the end of that round, right, that's the end of the round, she was able to take over, and she put herself in that position where the ref stopped it.
Hats off to both of them. Liz Carmouche, the title had eluded her for 3 fights. She had gone after that title. She had 3 title shots, and tonight she finally wins it here in front of the troops and her wife and her son. Well, that is just part 1 of Bellator here in Honolulu. Things continue tomorrow. Tomorrow, we'll be right here from the beautiful state of Hawaii as the fight action continues, including 2 quarterfinals of the $1 million Bellator Bantamweight World Grand Prix. Juan Archuleta meets Rafion Satz for the interim Bantamweight World title, and Patchy Mix takes on the Typhoon Kyoji Horiguchi. Plus, Hawaii's own Alima Leigh McFarland aims to move back to title contention in front of her Wahine in a bout against Justine Kish. And in our Bellator main event, featherweight champion and MMA legend Chris Cyborg defends her crown in an anticipated rematch against Arlene Blenko. 4 huge fights tomorrow at 10:30 Eastern, 7:30 Pacific, and that is only on Showtime. Taking a look back at what unfolded here at Bellator 278 tonight in Honolulu, it was absolutely incredible. It started off with a rematch, Manny Muro versus Nate Andrews. Manny lost the first one, but said, I'm ready to go out on my shield in this fight, and sure enough, he did. It went to the judges, but Muro with the win. They are now 1-1. After that, we saw Danny Sabatello versus Jordell Lugo. Danny Sabatello pumping up the crowd there, and he punches his ticket to the Grand Prix. Also, Nikita Mikhailov versus Enrique Barzola. Barzola, almost 10 years older, and said, I will show the young guy how it is done. He punches his ticket to the Grand Prix. And the main event, the champ undefeated Juliana Velasquez versus Marine Liz Carmouche. Carmouche with 3 title shots in her career, never won before, but in the 4th round by knockout defeats the champ. But this one will be talked about for months to come. That does it for us here at Bellator 278 in Honolulu. We will see you, though, for Bellator 279 tomorrow night.